The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
Journey with us back into the 1980s as Trick or Treat Radio and a couple of special guests. And we're going to have a real tubular time. It's going to be awesome, man. So, hey, hop into your DeLorean, jump into 1985 with us, and listen to Trick or Treat Radio.
Zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 163 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is a phantasmagorical spin kick straight through the heart of pop culture, navigated by the Deadites. The Deadites are the world's greatest electroshock band. We destroy monsters, we drink booze, we win championship belts, and we also dress like we're from the 80s.
I just got that right now.
What?
That's what he's doing.
You just
Are you
figured
serious?
it out.
Well, yeah, I thought it was, it's a Wednesday for Monster Zero.
What's the matter with you, man? Were you staying up too late last night? Were you watching Silver Spoons or something?
Yeah.
Or the special AIDS episode of Mr. Belvedere?
What?
Okay, I fell
Oh,
asleep
you
before
kidding me?
that.
That's great.
They tackled AIDS on there?
Oh yeah, they made a big joke about it. It was pretty funny. Maybe it'll be on again. Who knows? I watched it on my awesome 19-inch screen TV.
19-inch?
Yeah. Are you kidding me? That's state of the art. Yeah, I think it's a Zenith.
All right, did you go to Zares just before watching it?
Well, I
Bradley's?
did shop through Caldor and Zares and Grants, and I did, but I did get it at Radio Shack.
Oh, all right.
You know, it has nice wood paneling and everything. It's really it's really awesome.
Does he know it is 2015? Michael Ray and Shadow.
No. No.
2015 is 30 years off, man. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
All right, well, we have a couple guests with us, so why don't we jump right in and introduce them, and then we'll get to all the techno babble about the future.
Yeah, Madonna's got nice boobies, you know? She's pretty hot.
Who does?
Madonna. She's pretty hot.
I thought you said my daughter. I was like, what?
Whoa.
Well,
All
maybe
right.
in 30 years she will, but you never...
Well, we have the singer and songwriter of Teeel, the founder of Synth Records, author of the world's shortest diet book, haunted house dwelling, time traveling, awesome dude, Jim Smith.
Yo, what's up, guys?
And Jim is also our official 80s. He's our 80s correspondent. He's our resident 80s specialist, whatever you want to call it. But we brought him in for the heavy hitter today when we are going to tackle a retro 80s film.
Thank you, guys. Thanks again for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure.
No problem.
That's awesome.
Awesome to have you on, Jim. And
Awesome.
Jim, you also have a special guest. Why don't you go ahead and introduce your special guest?
Yes, I'm here with the one and only Jason Paul. He's a tattoo artist in the Trenton area that does some pretty awesome stuff, and he actually was the one that tattooed the DeLorean on my arm, so he's also a
Nice.
fellow 80s kid, so excited to have him here, too.
How's it going, everybody?
Awesome. Welcome
babe.
back, Jay. I know you've been on once before, and it's a
Tubular.
pleasure to have you on. And this is totally meta.
So rad.
You're the guy who tattooed the DeLorean on Jim, our 80s specialist. So this is kind of like totally meta right here.
Super mashup.
Exactly.
It's like Inception.
You should tattoo the flux capacitor on his chest. Like
Oh,
his
I
entire
would.
chest, which should be the flux capacitor.
Jim's getting ideas.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Make it look like it's cut out of his chest, so like
Yeah.
somebody panel off of his chest and it's inside of him. Oh, sick.
Yeah. Yeah, with the printer label, it says flux capacitor up top and everything, you know? It would look pretty sweet.
It's
We-
great.
we need to get MZ. You need to go visit Jay for one of your tattoos.
Yes, I do. I
Live
do.
podcast it.
There we go. Yeah, so you can actually get a good one.
Yeah.
Fuck you, man. I got good tattoos.
Yeah, you got some good ones and you got some bad ones.
Let's
my
cover
good-
up those bad ones.
Yeah. Hey, Jay just said he'll cover up those bad ones.
All
There
right.
you go.
Yeah.
All right. Sure.
All right,
Sure.
let's get the fun started.
My Nosferatu tattoo is the good tattoo.
No, you're right. You have a couple good ones. No, you have a few good ones, but
Thank you.
two of them especially are you could do better.
Well, you're not the only person to say that.
I know.
Believe me.
I know everyone says it. All right, so awesome to have you guys both here. We're gonna have a fun show. Why don't we go ahead and let everyone know what we're going to do tonight, and then we'll introduce the rest of the crew. You guys, if you've listened to more than one episode, you know our voices, so it's kind of a moot point at this juncture. But tonight, we are going to review the flick Turbo Kid, the retro 80s action sci-fi splatterhouse, if you will, show. Oh, someone's here.
It's Zach Galifianakis.
What?
Your stomach is touching the floor. I'm sure I can't think of it, but I ain't really look.
That ain't my stomach.
We can't
man.
hear you.
And secondly, you're switching seats with me.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are,
No, I'm not.
I can't bend over to talk into the mic.
Do you need
Oh,
another
you could
chair?
bend over to do everything else, though.
So say, I just got out of the hospital, you lazy son of a bitch.
Oh, well, apparently Dynamo's here straight from the hospital, and he's ordering people around. What do you need to do, Dynamo? What's going on?
I didn't have anything important to do, like my girlfriend made me go on vacation, or I got a little nervous.
Oh, come on.
No.
Seriously, like,
Get out of the way.
what's going on? Do you use that mic? What's wrong with that one?
I don't want to sit that close to him.
Well, move it over.
Yeah.
I can't believe that this walking pussy fart wouldn't move for me.
Yeah, no shit. What's the matter with you, Raven Shadow?
It's gonna be a good show, Jim. Stay tuned in Jersey. Jay, get a snack. It's gonna be exciting. I thought Jim was out of the country.
He was.
He was.
Yeah, that was like yesterday, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's?
I have a time traveling DeLorean.
Oh shit!
He can do what he wants. He's got one tattooed on his arm.
That makes sense.
All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to review Turbo Kid tonight, and then we were going to do another flick, but we had some issues with some subtitles, and so we decided that we had Jay and Jim with us. So you know what? Let's just shoot the shit and talk to those guys, because those guys are awesome and they have a lot to say. So we have a lot of catching up to do anyway. So we are not going to review New Kids Turbo. So if you're excited about that, I apologize. Maybe we'll do that down the road sometime, but
Unexcite yourself.
yeah, unexcite bike yourself. So we're not going to be doing that tonight, though. But we will have.
Shit, remember Psych Bike?
I fucking love that game.
That game is
That game.
awesome.
Yeah.
I was really bad at it, but
Do you remember when you got to make your own track and
No.
you just put a bunch of J's?
Yeah.
was-
Yep.
Just
That was the
one
best.
That like shot you off the screen.
Yep.
That was the best part.
Loved Excite Bike, man.
Derek Rook is
I
hanging
played it
out.
yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Oh
You
snap!
Hey,
played it
all right.
yesterday?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I have a Nintendo. I
that's
just
a little
got it-
more advanced than Candy Crush Saga.
Yeah, but I don't know what that is. I just got Nintendo just a couple weeks ago, man, and I got Excite Bike, and it was cool. It was rad.
That's the best.
It was
game.
Rad Racer.
Turbo Kid was so Excite Bike.
My
At least in the
impression
beginning.
of it is that Candy Crush Saga is the edgier version of Bejeweled.
What?
It's like the X-rated version of Bejeweled.
Not Begooled.
All right, so Turbo Kid, and then lots of other fun stuff going on. Derek Rook is hanging out in the chat room, our buddy who we had on a couple weeks ago, and he said that's a lot of fucking Fresca. That is.
That's Diet Dr. Pepper.
You know,
Oh.
I didn't know Fresca. Do you know what flavor Fresca is? It's grapefruit soda. That's
Yeah.
weird. I don't think I would have drank that if I knew it was grapefruit soda.
Yeah, I don't. I just saw the black cherry and I enjoy that.
Mm.
All right, so Dynamo.
Yeah.
I guess it's the 800-pound gorilla in the room, but what's going on? You're here right from the hospital, right?
I'm not sure about the 800-pound gorilla, but I know he's wearing a half shirt.
He's dressed for the occasion. Speaking of which, MZ, just show off that fucking outfit.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus, he's wearing a Def Leppard half shirt.
I suspect it
something?
didn't start a half shirt though.
Yeah, this is actually a double XL. I gained a couple of pounds over the years.
Yeah.
He wears
He's wearing a headband, glasses.
Yep. I'm wearing tight shorts, so my
Wow.
bulge is hanging out.
Yeah, it's fucking
Nice.
Yeah, I'm rocking it sweet.
great. Is your hospital room still vacant? Because I might go over there.
Yeah. It probably is. It's probably still warm. The bed, anyway, or the chair next to it. We had the Trick or Treat Radio cookout on, what was that, Saturday, Wolfie?
Yes.
I was not feeling well. I had gone to my doctor on Friday because I wasn't feeling well. Now, for anybody who wasn't paying attention, I was pretty much given a very bad bill of health and was told I was going to get a lot of infections. I just thought that I had cut it in the bud and wasn't. But as it turns out, I got an infection that turned into a cyst in a spot in your throat that's right between your voice box and your Monster Zero's fucking enthralled right now.
I'm listening, man. I'm
Actually,
listening.
I'm going to win a award for best egg carrier. I've gone into competition against him. So I got a cyst in between my tongue and my voice box that they had to do more than drain. They actually had to go in and move a bunch of they drained it and removed a bunch of the damaged tissue from it. There was a good chance. I didn't know until 3 o'clock yesterday when I got out of surgery if I was going to be able to talk in the short term and sing or anything else in the long term, just because of the damage that the actual procedure could have done. And I have
Sounds
a big...
great, man.
Thank
You sound like you were not in the hospital yesterday.
I agree.
It sucks, yeah. Well, I was in the hospital up until about 4 hours ago, actually.
Does it hurt to talk?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't hurt to talk. It doesn't hurt to eat.
So the pain pills wear off, or?
They were giving me morphine the whole time, and I don't respond
Nice.
very well to morphine.
Ah, man. That's too bad.
But they sent me home with 10 Oxycontin.
Nice.
And I suspect I will put the
Raven Shadow approves.
I suspect I will put the 4 of them to good use over the next couple of weeks. But so I have a hole in my throat, and it has to heal open.
Damn.
Did the doctors forbid you from doing the show?
No, they didn't really. They knew about the show too, because when I wasn't. Before the CAT scans and stuff, when I didn't know what was going on.
They're big fans.
And welcome to my throat surgery.
But they...
so that's Reservoir Doug, huh?
But they...
Remember, children, wherever you go, bring your Benny card.
I'll tell you what, if I had stayed at UMass, the university one, I would have preferred Reservoir Doug to do the surgery. But I ended up going to UMass Memorial, where I don't generally go. And they were great. Everybody was great there. I walked right into the emergency room, and before Kim had parked the car, I was already in a room. So,
good.
Yeah,
Good.
when they didn't know what was going on, or how bad it would, when they didn't know what was going on, I told them, I'm like, listen, do what you got to do. I don't have anywhere to be until Wednesday at 9, and it was Monday at like 1:30 a.m. at that time. And of course they asked me why and whatever else, and a couple of the nurses knew who I was from like the Lucky Dog, so
Cool.
I could already tell when something was wrong, that something was wrong before they told me, because there was a lot of, they thought I was sleeping, and outside, they have like glass sliding doors in this particular like emergency room for these little compartments, and there's a lot of deliberation about who was going to go in and tell me. So that was scary. But then, when I was very poisoned at like at 12 hours after that, at like 1:30 in the afternoon, they could have took my whole fool head off and I wouldn't have cared. It hurt in 2 different ways. It hurted in like the worst throbbing way you could, and it hurt like I had skinned my knee to the bone, because it looked like a Cronenberg movie, because it was literally bubbling and bursting. It was a really bad infection. I'm hoping that being on these antibiotics gets me out of the woods, and the first infection I had gets beaten down, and now this infection I have now. So this was either the first and the worst of this situation, and the last, or at least for right now. But again, through this whole, I got a lot of nice emails, I guess is what they're called now, messages, and
missives.
Yeah. What's funny is I almost didn't go because someone vandalized my home.
Yeah, what's the deal with this?
Yeah.
All right, so I thought originally it was something that had happened at the party. But then it dawned on me that shit that was wet at 9 o'clock on Monday probably wouldn't be wet at from like 11 o'clock on Saturday. Also, I went and got, if you guys recall, if you sober guys recall, I pulled a couple PWG movies out for
Right.
Joey Tron to watch at like midnight.
So I still am shocked that you had a supervillain at your party, but
Yes,
that's
right.
beside the point.
Yeah, whatever. It was open. Yeah, I think it's in that weird prize-winning contract from when he won on episode 10 or 11 or whatever. He can come and go as he pleases. But I thought that was it until I realized that there were like pictures that hold no value to anyone stolen. And I thought perhaps they were gone for a long time and I didn't know it. But as you remember, Wolfie, we all took a big selfie with Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah.
And those pictures were still there at 1 a.m. on Saturday.
Okay, yeah.
So I was there all day Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And I left to do paperwork at my big kid job on Monday for like 5 hours. So this happened in between that time. So it's kind of a slam dunk on who did it. It's somebody who I have a lot of problems with in my real life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I thought somebody had been doing this for a long time. I felt like every time this particular person was there, I was missing something, but my special lady friend treated me like kind of a fool.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, why would they take that? Why would they take a Ninja Turtle action figure? Or why would they, somebody need to take $10 off your desk or whatever else? But I am going through all the proper channels that I can now to fuck this person to the highest possibility that I possibly can. Not just because they caused vandalism in my house, because they stole those pictures, which really made it so that like, say somebody wanted to come rob stuff, they did it in reverse. They might have destroyed the pictures and stole the limited edition Blu-rays. You know what I mean? Or the PlayStation. Like, nobody was going to sneak in that back door and steal a picture of my aunt's. Unless they were trying to hurt me. So yeah, someone, not many people like me, but this person in particular hates me for reasons that.
So you're gonna name them on air, or we're gonna go?
No, I will name them. Like, I legit, like, I sent the message today and the people are getting back to me, but I called a couple of my friends who are policemen.
Yep.
And they're going to get back to me about what we can do. So I don't know just how CSI we can get here, but I know that there's no reason that anyone would, like, ever, me and my special lady friend touch those things.
Right.
So anyone else, like, there's no reason for anyone to have, like, touched them or been in that area. And you would have had to, like, kind of climb up and touch a lot of things to get them.
Mm-hmm.
So I even said in my message to my policeman type friends, I feel like this person effed themselves because they could have done so much more damage, but the weird little petty thing they did, like, they might as well have signed their name in both what they did and. So yeah, like, it came out on the internet because initially I was like, man, somebody at the party spilled a bunch of shit on my Blu-rays and just fucking walked away, which would have been a shitty accident, but to not tell me.
Right.
And then the next shelf down were wet. Like, they were still wet, like puddles of wet on them.
That sucks.
So I went up. Well, I should say originally I thought I had a leak in the ceiling or something, but the top 4 shelves were bone dry and the ceiling and wall at the top were bone dry. So it was something somebody did. Now, these two things might be isolated incidents, but I don't, as I feel like I'm quasi-famous for saying, I don't really believe in coincidences. So
Derek in the chat room says, Dynamo, whose car we taking?
yeah. The irony is I think that I probably paid for this car anyway. So it's going to be mine one way or the other. But yeah, this will be good. It's the type of thing where one of the things that I'm so spry right now, considering what happened, is I finally feel like a bad element is about to be out of my life. And in the poke, maybe. Because what happens is that over time, petty crime or petty larceny, it might be called, like, that stuff compacts. So if you've stolen, like, so if you think you destroyed, like, a $10 Blu-ray and you actually destroyed a $300 Japanese import of Roadhouse, then...
Roadhouse.
Yeah, then, like, I think the person just kind of fucked up and lost. So I'm very excited about that.
Well, hopefully this isn't going to be evidence, but if somebody's car ends up in a ditch, I think I know why.
It's awesome. Like, the bad point is that when shit like this happens, and there are people, and again, I won't say who, but there are three brothers that all have big beards and like me quite a bit and come from the town that Raven Shadow is from. Like, they're already trying to kill people who are bad to me. Just like, they don't even like it when I mow my lawn. So, these dudes are, chomping at the bit to do some harm to bad people. So, and it doesn't matter anyway if that's evidence, because they're the type of guys that anytime anybody gets beat up and thrown in an alley, people just assume it's them anyway. So,
Gotcha.
It's not the people on this show. It's people that like me.
Well, speaking of people that like you, we have someone else on the line that likes you.
Who?
Dynamo Mars.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is your life.
Not that I'm not happy to hear from you, but I thought it was going to be Tiny.
Can you recognize this voice?
Where is Tiny?
I had to come on the show. I mean, he invited me last week, and then I wake up this morning to this Facebook catastrophe of him being in the hospital and there's a hole in his throat, and it's like, I'm not going to make the show because I might be because I want to go work out. Fuck that. And then I'm texting him today, and I'm like, you're still doing the show? And he's like, fuck yeah, I've never missed the show. And I'm like, that's fucked up. So I had to pop in and show a little love for Dynamo Mars.
Thank you.
I was like, if he could do this show, why the fuck can't I do the show?
Let's get every guest that's ever been on now. If Dynamo can do this, why can't they?
Anyone said no. If you didn't want to watch Komoko the Treasure Hunter.
Yeah, you could have been on last week.
Which, by the way, that's a good movie. You missed that one. That's a good movie.
Yeah, it was.
I did watch Turbo Kid a few hours ago. So
Nice. All right, so
did you watch New Kids Turbo? Because you could tell me what they said.
I didn't see it. No. That's a few years old, right?
Yeah.
You're going. Yeah. You guys are going a little far back, right? Did that just come out or?
No, New Kids Turbo is 2010. We're actually not going to review it though, because there were issues with subtitles, and not everyone was able to see them. So
we don't understand Dutch all that well.
No. You know what's cool about this? On the Raven Shadow Thesaurus, doesn't Jim and Joe live in the same place? It's close.
Yeah,
right?
they're like Bert and Ernie. They live together.
So let's make the connection. So Joe DeCanio from Film for Thought podcast has just joined us, and Joe, we also have we have all these J's. Joe, we have Jim Smith from the awesome band Teeel, and we also have Jay, his tattoo artist, online.
Yeah,
Nice. Yo.
They're like
What's
a tandem
going on,
deal
guys?
now.
So
this is like a 9-dude gangbang.
Yeah.
it's a sausage party, is what it is.
A circle jerk of the highest order.
Yeah. So, all right, awesome. So Joe's gonna hang out with us, and let's I don't know. I guess we'll start introducing everyone, because it's about time to do that, right?
I'd hope that it won't get in here 20 minutes late. I missed that, but
nope. So let me go ahead and do that.
I could have put pants with a zipper on.
You could have. You could have put another shirt on too, or something. Well, that's
Another
a good shirt.
shirt on?
I like that shirt.
What, you got to give him my G.I. Joe shirt?
I don't know. It's fine. I like it. It's a good one. Well, let me go ahead and introduce everyone. I am Johnny Wolfenstein, the pencil pusher and producer of media for Trick or Treat Radio and the Deadites. We also have, I guess the immortal is
I think this is Law. Is this Law, Michael Ravenshadow? I can't bend down enough to see it.
It's Crankcase, Dusty, And fucking Doc.
What was that vehicle called? Yeah, it is Doc.
No, Doc.
Oh, Doc.
He is a black man.
Yeah,
But,
sorry.
no, that was before law.
I got a whole
It's the Ostriker.
Okay, good, right.
The Ostriker.
Rubber Chicken, the best comic shop around, had a few last free comic book day. They had a whole bunch of T-shirts that were just G.I. Joe vehicle, like the box art.
Yep.
And I bought them all.
Great
'cause
box art.
That's what responsible people do.
So Immortal is probably none more accurate than it is today. We have the Immortal Gunslinger, the singer and lyricist for the Deadites, the man who just fought off the Grim Reaper with only a shotgun, Dynamo Mars.
I will tell you that the good part about this is that I have brought my times I almost died in 1 year. I've beat my record by one now.
What's that? What record?
Well, the other times I've almost died, that was the only time I had done it that year.
Oh.
But now I'm twice, and we're only about midway through, so it's good.
We're getting pretty close. We're like 3/4 of the way through almost.
Well, I got some. I got some news a little while ago that almost killed me. So.
Okay, well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So we also have the chain-smoking, hand-kissing, baby-shaking, hot pocket loving, comic book reading nerd, the official smoke machine for the Deadites. He's in a bad mood tonight, or at least he was last week. Michael Ravenshadow.
Ooh, that's right, Johnny. And my love is like bad medicine.
That's from New Jersey too.
Yeah.
Big ups, Long Island, Joe.
What's up, Jersey City?
There you go. I got notes.
All right, Raven Shadow. So you missed last week. Everything all right?
Yeah, it was fucking rough. Bad times. I didn't have a fucking tracheotomy, so in perspective. But no, wife and Shadow broke down. So it was really hard to tell dick and fart jokes while your wife's on the side of the road.
Right.
So I had to...
I'll tell you this. There's nothing I fucking hate. I can empathize because I am so disinterested in it, but there's nothing I hate more than fucking car problems. Like a meteor can fall through my roof, but if I have to put $1 into that fucking car, I get irritated. So,
although I will say this though, while we were broken down waiting for my son was getting out of work. So fuck him. Thanks a lot. Had you been home doing drugs, I could have done the fucking show.
You all right? I learned it by watching you.
No, it was by your father. Okay, I'm a stepdad. Before me. Okay. But it was funny, as we're waiting the second hour in, and I'm texting Johnny, all kinds of swear words. He his current job isn't giving him enough hours. So he walked across the street and got an application for another joint. So, we got our fingers crossed.
Joint.
Nice.
Yeah. I have expected him to come back in a different uniform. But he's a mover and a shaker.
All right, well, there you go. It's a happy ending then.
he couldn't have got a job like close to somewhere where you guys live.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
But the Dunkin' Donuts near us, this is true. They only hire Albanians.
Let's
said
get
that. They said-
crazy old Rick on the line.
Yeah. And they love trains. But no, we're trying.
All right, well, glad you could make it this week, Raven Shadow. Wasn't
Yes.
quite the same without you.
Yes.
We also have the chain smoking. I did that. The Vulgar Guru of Horror, cast member of Morbid Vision Films, one-time contributor for Horror Hound magazine. He is dressed to the 8s. You get that, huh?
To the 89s.
He's dressed to the 89s. Monster fucking zero.
89, goddamn. That was the year I graduated. I graduated high school in that year, and the 80s are here, and let me just say that I'm
And by the way, thank you for doing it on your fifth or sixth try.
Hold on.
Hold on. Don't you yell at me.
No, I will hold
with
on.
With your fucking wizard looking at me.
Scar neck. Yeah. Okay.
What?
What the
He doesn't have a
fuck?
scar yet. He's got a wound.
Yeah, it's open.
Yeah. Do you get freaky with that or what?
No. I don't know.
I just want to say.
I had to come
Christ.
here. Your girlfriend was busy.
Here I am. And I was just about to say that I'm happy to see Dynamite up on his feet here tonight. We were all worried for him. Glad to see he's around. That's what I was going to say. But you know
I
what?
don't believe you.
Now I'm not going to say it.
Good.
Yeah, I don't believe him either.
Right.
Oh, shut up.
All right. Well, we do have. There's some words of encouragement in the chat room. Robert E. Ronsky.
From Monster Zero?
No, Robert E. Ronsky Jr. says, "Amazing to deal with all this crap and keep pushing forward. Inspirational."
Well, it's not. I mean, I'm not this. I appreciate it, but I mean, I'm sitting here with a microphone.
And to be fair, Robert, the car got better. It was a recall.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I don't think he meant you.
no. Oh. The fucking alternator, Robert.
Yeah, when are you
That's
gonna get to
expensive,
read-
though.
We're gonna read your book
Yeah.
one of these days.
Huh?
Your autobiography.
The alternator's expensive, though. I know that for sure.
It worked a snurd, but
Yeah.
we had a recall.
Oh, that's good. We just bought
Total
a whole,
recall.
No, it's what I said.
with no hyperbole or exaggeration. We just bought a whole new car instead of replacing the alternator.
Yeah.
Speaking of car, man. When I might as well say it on this show. I said it to you already. That for the award show that I'm going to this weekend, I will be in New York at Turning Stone Resort and Casino, where the Scaricon, a horror convention, is going to be taking place at the same time in the same place, which I thought that was pretty sweet. But also, my job has comped my rental car.
Nice. Oh, they're going to give you a rental car? Why? Just
Because they're awesome people.
Well, that's good.
They take good care of their employees, man, and I couldn't be more grateful.
So tell us what kind of car.
I'm getting a 2015 Dodge Charger.
You're going to get in a fucking accident, you asshole.
Be careful, I might have an alternator issue.
What color are you going with?
I don't know what color it is yet. I'm hoping it's red.
You get pulled over.
I would
Red?
lend.
Yeah, dude, don't go red. Seriously, red looks so sweet, but you're gonna get pulled over.
Yeah.
Get black on black.
Yep.
Black on black.
I would.
Dude, yeah, and get the skull, dude. Just do the total.
Yeah.
Punisher style.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
let's say
true.
Punisher or even,
Just matte as fuck.
matte black,
Yeah.
all black.
Oh,
Just have it be Bondo. Just get the Bondo one. No one ever pulls over the Bondo car.
Get a fucking plaid
Out of the
charger.
garage, throw some Bondo on it, and just drive it.
And paint it primer gray.
Do you know how much? Do
See
you
if you
have
can get
any
some
idea
wood
how much
panels.
it costs to rent?
it's $180.
Because I will
A
for
day?
No. For the
That's not bad.
for
3 days.
for $80, I will let you rent a 2013 Dodge Dart.
Dodge. Well, it's still in the Dodge family.
Yeah, see. You can pick it up. It'll be the one with like bird shit all over it. Even though I just cleaned it like 5 minutes before. It's the only car on the fucking East Coast.
I appreciate
bird shit
the
on.
offer. I appreciate the offer, but no thanks.
Oh, we have Bizarro Tom C in the chat room.
Shit.
He says, "Hey, Dynamo made it. How you
What's-
feeling, Bucko?"
I'm good. What's real Tom C then?
Well, Bizarro Tom C says, "I'm really pleased to see Michael Ravenshadow this week as well. He's my favorite." MZ, stop talking.
Nice.
You suck.
Wow. I get
Oh.
it.
What the fuck
Yeah.
is his problem?
Bizarro Tom
Bizarro
C.
Tom C.
You get it?
It's in the fucking name. It's like fucking. It's like the fucking opposite sketch.
I would
You
say-
can't do that on television.
I would say that this Tom C, as we found out at the Trick or Treat Radio cookout, has very good facial hair.
Yeah.
His his Snidely Whiplash mustache is
Yeah.
getting out of control.
He ended up tying Aries to a train track earlier. Weird times.
That's where he is.
Yeah.
You must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent. You must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent.
Not-
I'll pay the rent. Curses foil again.
Not that I expect anybody to be so worried about me or pay attention to me at all, but I am like legitimately dreading the 3 weeks when Aries finally figures out that I was in the hospital, and for some reason the fact that he didn't look at his Facebook, any Deadites correspondence, or the email I sent him, he's mad at me for some reason. You were in the hospital? Nobody told me.
Hey, you know what? Real quick, a fact about Facebook that
Yep.
I've learned recently. If you don't communicate with other people, like if you don't like their pictures or you don't comment ever, eventually they just fall out of your newsfeed and then no one ever sees anything. It's kind of crazy. And soon you just start seeing Target ads.
Spoiler
Oh
alert.
shit! I think you're right, Jim.
Yeah, it's
I am right.
he only
So,
ever got Target
like,
ads, me and his
Facebook-
mother.
So Facebook, like let's say you have like 1,000 friends, right?
Slow down.
You probably only see about 40 people's updates a day because it's really the only people you like interact with. So if you saw everything that every activity that every person that you were friends with did, like Facebook feed would just be exploding like all over the place. So it kind of sucks because if you don't, click on other people's pictures and you don't click like on this or you don't click like on that, then no one ever sees it. So it really sucks for musicians and kind of indie labels and podcasts and a lot of, do-it-yourself kind of businesses where, Facebook now is they want you to pay.
Right.
They want you to pay if you want to see the content of
Exposure.
you, exposure,
Right.
you have to pay now. now that the whole world's linked in, you have to pay. So it really sucks. And it just happened like the last 2 to 3 years ago, where they just started charging a lot of the pages. So because I'll post a new album or a new link to a song, and if it doesn't get enough likes, then it doesn't continue like a wave where it just builds and starts like showing up in other people's news feeds.
It almost, in the algorithm, almost doesn't work. Like the way you described it is the way that it's supposed to be. Like, but I don't know. I don't usually even see tiny shit. Like,
yeah, I agree, dude.
Yeah,
I have to go searching sometimes. I'm like, how did I miss this? Like, this was kind of a monumental event in someone's life, and I didn't even get to say like that's awesome or anything. It's just the way it works now. So people then move on to different social media sites. Like Instagram now is like really popular, and people just use that as the next way to communicate, and then soon that'll be loaded up with ads, and then they move to the next one. It's like kind of crazy, and everyone's just digitally connected. So there's it's very controlled by advertisements and what you look up on Google and all kinds of shit.
It's Skynet, man.
the one of the things I always forget to do it, but you can actually make groupings of friends and stuff like that. Like I have one for the Deadites, where I can just look at like what everyone in the Deadites has going on.
That's cool.
So I guess you can do that, but it's not something I use very often.
It's super useful. Just don't check it before you try to have a small. Just check it before you use one of those groups to try to have a small barbecue.
Well, groups work really well too, but same thing with groups. Like eventually, if no one really comments or talks in it, then it just kind of dies off, So, but some user groups, like if you build up a nice fan base, you can have better communication with people. It's definitely more real time than the average Facebook newsfeed.
Yeah, most pretty much, like I would say 90% of my social media these days is with Trick or Treat Radio and like listeners and people on the show and all that, because I just don't.
That's
really...
who you interact with.
Yeah.
I like to follow that.
Yeah. So that's the interaction thing. But so when you say like, someone might have not seen anything, like it's very rare that I see a lot of your guys' stuff too. It's like once we start interacting on Facebook, then I see more of your newsfeed.
Yeah, it's
weird.
Pretty evil, but I guess pretty smart, right? I mean,
sure. Well, Warren Ellis brilliantly said that people use the internet like a natural resource sometimes, like things like Facebook and Twitter, and like somebody owns it. At some point they were going to monetize it.
Exactly. Well, I'm sure we could go on and on about how much Facebook sucks and makes it really difficult for us to reach the people we want to reach, especially as podcasters, bands, whatever.
If only we had a way to call somebody and talk to them.
Yeah, but you can't talk to like
everyone at once.
1,500 people.
Yeah.
Potty line, 80s. Right?
That's right.
MC?
That's right, man.
Potty phone.
That's
I'd call
right.
that.
$2.95 for the first minute, $1.95 for each additional minute thereafter.
Joe, you got potty phones out there in Long Island?
We got time, son.
I know Jersey's all into that shit. I know that. But I'm talking about Long Island.
What are you talking about, Raven Chat?
Joe's like, I don't even know what this party line is. Joe's like, I know AOL chat rooms.
Yeah.
Right. I used to go to chat rooms when I was, your age.
When I was your age. Joe, you're never going to be his age.
No.
It's so true.
We have Bizarro Tom C in the chat room says, why does stuff have to end up sucking so often? Interpret as you will. And they said, barbecue was a lot of fun. Awesome pad. Sorry about your belongings being ruined.
That's okay, man. I won't lie. Like, I've literally wept a few times over that shit, but it's only stuff. Like, and I could probably replace most of it. I do feel really, like, bad about sentimental things that were stolen, but I don't know. Like, shit like... bad things happen to people, and that's that. I don't know. Like every time I felt really bad about shit happening to my Blu-rays, and I feel bad even talking about it now. I think about the fact that how sad I was when something really happened to somebody. So
Or people who live in countries who can't afford Blu-rays.
well, fuck those people.
Listen, if there's anybody who understands this more, it's me. I mean, this is a catastrophe, and I will come down there and take the necessary measurements to make sure that this person is prosecuted and thrown in jail.
Thank you.
Wow. There you go.
If you need me, I'm a phone call away.
That's good. Phone call away in 5 hours.
Yeah.
So So I'm sorry. Approximately how many Blu-rays did you ballpark it? Or
I still have to go through it. I there's a few things that I checked right away, and thank God. There's a couple of things that like just didn't get wrecked. Like I managed to snag one of the first run of those VHS 2 VHS's DVD Blu-ray combos. In my House of the Devil, and a few other like things that I had that I didn't even open that were just like collector's pieces. So that shit's still okay.
thank God.
But there's like there's a lot of things that got killed is like bullshit. So you start going through the pile and you're like, oh well, if I want to get Sucker Punch again, like I'm sure it won't be expensive, But then like that fucking Roadhouse that I found by accident, or the weird limited edition Predator that I found, the one that only came out briefly.
Monster Zero. He's the limited edition Predator.
Thank God I stopped looking because I almost didn't go to the hospital because I like felt like this was like dealing with these Blu-rays. And do you want to hear the worst part? As I was getting ready to go, I had to stop because the same person or persons vandalized Frankenstein's tank.
What?
I went over and it looked like his tank had milk in it.
Oh, come on.
So whatever it wasn't milk. It smelled like a booze, but whatever they put in there reacted with the chemicals that are in there and made it like milky and weird. Yeah, like these were people.
I'm looking forward to getting off air so I can find out who
this was somebody who this was somebody who wanted to really hurt me. Unfortunately, I don't think that they realized like even like how bad it was to a degree. You know what I mean? Like I think in their head they were just fucking with me, But like they really caused like some financial, I did a 80% water change of Frankenstein's water, and when I got back, it was back to being nice and clear again. But for fuck's sake, I mean, Wolfie, like I literally almost didn't go to the hospital because all I could think of the whole time was fucking Frankenstein and what's going on with the water, and Kim doesn't even like to feed him, so she wouldn't do anything to like. It was bad. Like someone attacked me. And not the way that, like, I love to get fucking attacked. Attack me on the internet and I'll go around and around all day. Attack me in real life. You might be tougher than me because most people are, but you better bring a sandwich because I'm not smart enough to sit down ever. So, it sucks when it was a matter of they just probably assumed that I went away for the holiday, and that I wasn't going to be back in 4 hours, and the fish would have unfortunately died, and more stuff might have got ruined, and
So besides Frankenstein, talking more to the Blu-rays or VHS.
Joe just cares about the Blu-ray.
Fuck the fish, okay?
Well, I said besides Frankenstein, which is obviously a concern.
Yeah.
And what's the biggest devastating thing they ruined in terms of Blu-ray collection? My biggest thing would be, did they fuck up Jaws?
No. But because like I have a like little sub pile of DVDs, Blu-rays rather, that are always out. The biggest thing is that it wasn't actually a film at all. It's that I collect this one particular brand of wrestling, and most of my wrestling collection has its own room in the house. It's like just a whole room that from wall to ceiling on one side is independent and Japanese wrestling DVDs. But my Pro Wrestling Guerrilla DVDs were on my main media shelf displayed in the office area of the crypt, and they're all digipacks. So those were all cardboard and pretty wrecked. And unlike most other independent wrestling or national wrestling leagues, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla lets their shit go out of print. So I haven't even looked at what some of that older stuff. And some of it I didn't buy new. Some of it I had to buy used. So I don't even know. So that's probably the stuff that's the least replaceable. I did have, I mentioned it before, and it probably sounded like a joke, but I did happen upon a nice Japanese import of Roadhouse. And
Well, I mean, now you can get the Ronda Rousey version. They just announced the remake
really.
today.
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would watch Ronda Rousey make fucking soup all day. So
Ronda
I don't-
Roundhouse Rousey.
Yeah.
So I certainly don't mean
No,
to,
no, it's fine. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I could have I don't know, but thank you, Joe, for being interested in it.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
You always are, buddy.
Ledger popped in and he says, "Oh, for fuck's sake, I only showed up because I was told that Dynamo would not be there." And then he said, and just for the record, I was in the OC the whole time.
Nice.
So it wasn't Ledger. It wasn't. You have like two dads.
know.
Ledger's your dad.
It's true.
You have like four dads actually.
Yeah, not Ledger certainly did not message me in the middle of the day or at some point while I was unconscious and say nice things to me, because that would be completely out of character for him.
Of course.
So.
All right. So we've gone ahead. We've introduced everyone. We've talked about that. MZ, we have something.
Yes.
MZ received a package here at Castle Wolfenstein addressed to Monster Zero.
Yes, it actually says 2 months to 0.
Yeah, it does. I'm not shitting you. It says.
It
so I
actually
didn't.
says that.
So I didn't open it.
What did you do when you I would have fucking busted a gut. I would have to go to the hospital.
I mean, I haven't opened it yet. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my little orphan Annie secret decoder pin.
It could be.
I mean,
Why don't you go ahead and open that before we head to?
okay.
Did it look like the
This is gonna be interesting.
the Miami Connection video we did?
Is it from your father?
Are you an orphan?
Is it from your real father?
Monster Yeager died along with other monsters.
It's exciting. I didn't.
I know.
Oh shit! This is the test results. What's the over under on herpes?
It's gonna say he's a girl.
What?
I hope
What
it's
is
somebody
it?
else's hair. I hope it's somebody else's hair.
I don't know what to
know
think
what
by
it
the
is.
silence.
I hope it's somebody
I don't know what
else's
it
hair.
is.
And let people know, because
Okay,
we have
well,
listeners out there who can't
All right,
see it.
yes.
It's
Well,
fucking radio.
all right, I got it. It's a clear cellophane package about the size of a giant condom,
I know what it is. I can see what it is.
and it's got a red string attached to it. I still don't know what it is.
I know what
Oh my god!
What the fuck is that?
I know what they are.
I still don't know what.
I know what they are.
Oh snap!
Okay. I was sent a pair of heart-shaped pasties with little red tassels on them,
That's fucking sexy, right?
and you put them on.
Well, he doesn't have to do the tuck dance. I
Yeah.
think someone's
I
giving you.
I didn't think Buffalo Bill needed pasties.
Well, now he does.
Well,
you don't have your nipples pierced, so
No, I don't.
that'll have to do.
as someone
gotta
who's
put 'em on
seen your
balls.
nipples, I can't. I send out dearest thanks.
Yeah, they
So-
look like baloney
They
gumdrops.
do.
Yeah, thanks for the memories.
Yeah. Monster Zero's nipples look like somebody took a 45 and cut out, used that as a guide to cut circles in baloney.
Oh my lord! This just
Do you guys know who this is from?
It's from Stephanie Wiley.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Who is it from?
It is from Wooberman. Unbelievable. It doesn't say on the packaging, but he said that he was sending something. So
So
that's
you gotta wear those things and swing them around.
Oh boy, man! I don't know if I got the
so
gyration for
I don't
something like that.
for the
Come
people.
on, for the live feed. The live feed.
Well,
Seriously.
Well, hold on. For the people who don't know, this Monster Zero was challenged to do the tuck dance from Silence of the Lambs. So this is a contribution for that video.
Well, thank you, Wilburman. I
Please
appreciate
tuck
it.
it and twirl it, or what?
Tuck and twirl.
Tuck and twirl.
The tuck and twirl, guy.
The tuck and twirl.
To be fair,
Thank you, Wilburman. I appreciate your contribution.
He wasn't challenged. He offered to do it for $20, and then somebody
$20.
gave us $100 to do it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'd send you $20. Fuck.
Share a Castle Wolfenstein.
Yeah, nobody's stopping you.
What a dick.
Yeah, so
all right.
I'm speechless right now. I don't know what to say, but except thank you, and I will make sure that these get put to good use.
Yes, you will.
Your award ceremony.
All right, Wooberman. Thank you. Wooberman is over in on other side of the pond, so he must be asleep by now. But definitely thank you. You're talking to the wrong mic.
Yeah, you're right. I had a lady friend that lived in England briefly, and like I can't really remember the time zone, but I remember that like at the times we were supposed to be having phone sex, like I couldn't have cared less for phone sex. So
international lady friends.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was a cool girl. She was from Internationality. She was like Croatian or someplace in Europe that I don't really think it's real.
Croatia's real.
Yeah, I doubt it. I thought she picked that. I thought she picked that place because it was in her last name.
Oh, I know who it is.
Yeah. But yeah, she was. But like, yeah, it was like really early or really late, and it was like, yeah, I'm touching it, baby. Yeah, you're really hot.
Jesus Christ!
It's fucking Wednesday.
It's the worst phone sex I've ever heard.
Yeah, well, I'm probably not that good at it anyway. Like, so 4 a.m. on a Wednesday when it's like noon there or whatever.
Who's really the judge of phone sex anyway? I mean, if you're a judge on good phone sex.
Well, I remember
says
someone
that?
got.
You're horrible at phone sex.
That's a fucking show, Joe.
I remember somebody got voted off the fucking Brett Michaels house because of it.
Well, that's Brett Michaels for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get a lot of guys on tonight's show. We could do something.
Yeah. Ledger says, I was really hoping that Dynamo would be holding the mic to his neck in order to talk. Dynamo.
Remember, children.
He's like Kane now.
I love you, X-Pac.
All right. Well, we have to cut to a break because we have a movie to talk about. This is a very long intro.
Just
but
one. I feel like we have time on our hands, too.
I know, thankfully, because if we had two, it would have been too much. So,
unlike fucking last week when I'm still not positive what fucking happened.
We all love the movie. That's what
Joe
happened.
DiCanio. I blame him.
What the hell did I do?
I don't know, but I know that like we have one less person, only one movie, and ended up talking for almost 5 hours.
Almost 4, but close enough.
Well, we got into Craven, the whole thing.
Craven the Hunter.
Yeah.
Craven's Last Treasure Hunt. Good name, sir. I'm so.
Thank you.
It was a good name. It popped up on my feed 2 days later. I'm like, perfect.
The irony is, it's the only one ever that people thought I did. And I did.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
That didn't have rape in the title.
Yeah, not to steal a Raven shout, but let's not flip the switch. Script here. That was not me.
We've talked about that. If you want to know about that, go back and listen
Yeah.
to some of the earlier episodes.
People quit in the band. It was a bad day.
Our very first episode. Oh man!
Good
All right.
start, true, right? Like
Yeah,
we knew
exactly.
after a good start when at noon I wake up and one of our female singers is like, I'm fucking out of here. And which was weird because at first I was like, how do you know what I dreamt about?
All right, so we need to cut to a break so we can come back and review this movie. But really quickly here, if you guys want to get in touch with us, if you want to leave feedback for the show, let us know what you think, want to just talk about any of the films we review, you can do so a number of ways. You can go ahead and leave us a voicemail on your smartphone or send us an email, podcast@trickortreatradio.com. You can go to trickortreatradio.com, click on the contact button right there, and then you can go ahead and leave a voicemail on our website, or also there's a link to leave a online missive, if you will, if you want to do that. And also, you can go ahead and tweet at us at the Deadites, or you can join our Facebook group, Trick or Treat Radio. That's where all the magic happens, because once the episode ends, Michael Ravenshadow, who's taking a swig of beer.
The real one or one of the fake ones from last week?
Oh, they're all real.
Real good.
Wait, what is it again? It's the conversation just begins.
That's right. You confuse yourself. All right, Ravenshadow.
Yes.
So, you sit down to watch the retro 80s action sci-fi flick.
Yes.
Turbo Kid. What do you do?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna pack an overnight bag. All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure that my alternator and battery's charged.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm gonna make sure I have clean undies.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure the fish is fed.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring my laptop to maybe say
You don't have a laptop.
I'm gonna borrow Monster Zero's laptop, and I'm gonna go to the waiting room. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna check myself in the hospital. I'm gonna make sure I got my pasties on. Then I'm gonna strap on.
Do you love
I'm Mike already. For the gidgiest listening experience, you gotta check out Trick or Treat Radio.
I'm Ruby Burble.
What's up, y'all? It's me, the Yeti. Telling all the ladies that they couldn't be more fine and that we should knock those boots like Frankenstein. When I want to get my nerd on, I go to Facebook and I go to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. That's the place where I get to talk about all the hip new horror movies, all the cool comics,
Like comics.
RPGs, video games, you name it, we're talking about shit on there. And you could not be any cooler if you were the coolest kid in school. Be the first kid on your block to swing their cock over at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for Trick or Treat Radio, ask to join, and it's like Nerd Nirvana, baby, without the shotgun blast. This is the Yeti, signing out. See you at the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group.
Follow us on Twitter at the Deadites, thedeadites.com, and trickortreatradio.com.
All right, we have returned on Trick or Treat Radio. I thought it was only appropriate to play Tiny White's 8-bit version of Too Ugly for Heaven, Too 8-bit for Heaven.
Which is brilliantly done.
Yeah, he did a really nice job on that.
Yeah. You need to turn up the...
Turn the mic off
is
by
what
accident?
you need to
Yeah.
do.
Okay. Sorry. I'm using a mic I don't normally use, people. I'm probably going to use it for a little while, though, because as of right now, anyway, not only does it hurt to bend in that direction, I have this strange sensation like fluid is pouring out of my neck when I move in that direction.
Jesus.
Man, I just got douche chills. It's gross.
In my defense, fluid is pouring out of my neck when I move in that direction, so it's not... I'm not making it up, but
is it at least going somewhere and not on the
oh yeah,
floor?
like I should have showed you on the break. They did me up pretty well when I left the hospital again, and then I took some more gauze.
Gauze?
Yeah. And
of course, any chance you get to get some gauze.
Yeah, well, I got this gauze all around my neck, baby. I have tape. It's gonna hurt getting it off, but I've tape like all the way around the back of my neck like a mummy right now. So.
It's too bad. I was hoping to see right through your neck.
Yeah, you could probably throw peanuts in. I could shoot them out at you. Like it's probably some road trick. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not a tough guy by any stretch of imagination, but the infection in my neck was bad enough. But holy fucking, this lady put down forceps. Is that what those things are called?
Forceps.
Yeah, forceps.
Yep.
Good
thing she can use 5-seps.
A scalpel with a big blade, like in a scalpel with a small blade that looked like an X-Acto knife.
Mm-hmm.
Some scissors in a weird thing that looked like the top of a brand, which I found out was for like pushing on one part so shit shot out of my neck after they cut it. So
Jesus.
Yeah, it was fucking weird. Like I felt bad. I swore at her. Like I looked at her, I'm like, you're fucking kidding, right?
Jesus.
And then she shot me with Novocaine, which didn't even matter because forceps pulling apart your neck so someone's hand and some tweezers can get in there still hurts.
But the morphine didn't help you, huh?
Yeah, I think that I found out when my gallbladder hit the shits a few years ago that morphine just isn't the drug for me.
Man, I had morphine once. Man, oh, what a drug. Holy
I agree.
shit.
Morphine's a hell of a drug.
Morphine is a hell of a drug, man. Yeah. Maybe one of these days you'll get hurt enough where you actually have to actually use it.
I kind of hope not.
No.
It's
Jesus.
it is an amazing drug. I'll
See,
tell you.
I don't know. I
I very
really
much
is.
agree. I very much agree, Master Zero.
It's
I do not like any painkillers for when you're hurt. I like a lot of them recreationally.
Oh, word to Snurb.
Vacation.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that was the problem. That was a time when certain things that rhyme with Icodin was.
Oh, you were updating your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, it was flowing like a faucet. I'll tell you that much.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's. Sorry to cut the drug talk short, guys, but
Joe, you got Vicodin out there?
I do actually.
Nice.
nice.
It's
a
not
good
my
time.
fault. I took 20 Oxycontin. I thought it was going to make my skin clear.
all right. We got to talk about this flick because I'm really excited to talk about it. We're going to talk about Turbo Kid from 2015. This flick is unrated, 93 minutes. It's an action sci-fi flick. It is directed and written by RKSS. How about that? I don't have to say their names. No, I will.
Rickshaw.
Because they have very French-Canadian names.
Oh.
But we have Francois Simard, Anouk Whistle, and Johan Carl Whistle.
Surrender.
I think I said them right. They're not that difficult.
Hey, where's Tiny?
I don't know.
What a fucking prick.
I contacted him, but
He's probably writing up my new fucking meal plan.
probably.
Tiny
And the-
White, dietitian at large.
The film stars Monroe Chambers, Laurence Leboeuf, Michael Ironside,
There you
Edwin
go.
Wright, Aaron Jeffrey, Romano Orzari, and also appearances by the filmmakers. They had pretty prominent roles, not huge roles, but important roles. They were also in this as well. So, Turbo Kid, where do we start? This flick was crowdfunding galore. Like they did, they're huge right now. They have a campaign going on Indiegogo that's been tearing it up. They're doing pretty good. Let me click on it and see.
For what? Another film?
No, for merch,
Oh, really?
T-shirts, action figures.
Nice.
Rent.
Well, the movie was financed through Kickstarter.
I know that it was a combination. I didn't get a chance to do as much research as I would have liked, but it was a combination between the Canada Film Commission and New Zealand. It was like a joint venture between them. So I know that there was definitely some funds being distributed that way, but I know that the crowdfunding was a large part of it. So they've already raised. They originally asked, the goal was $10,000. They've already made $27,000. And this is so you can get all kinds of cool stuff. They have action figures, they have T-shirts, posters, comic books, all sorts of really cool
Nice.
stuff. So if you want to,
Man, I love that.
if you want to get in on some of this action, just do a search for the Turbo Kid Indiegogo. I know, Jim, you were looking at some of this stuff, right? Weren't you looking at the vinyl?
Yeah, I've been following it, and I'm super disappointed that they only had 25 vinyl for sale.
Oh,
And
I
I was
feel
like,
like
25? I
that's
was like,
crazy.
they don't even do runs like that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I wanted the soundtrack, touched me pretty good. I mean,
Wow.
it was good.
Did at
I
least
was,
buy
like,
you a drink
super
first?
into
Ooh.
it was awesome, but I was bummed that they had that. But I think I'm going to pick up the Blu-ray. I like the figures. I thought they were pretty cool. But they had the vintage feel. They definitely look like vintage toys, which I think they nailed the aesthetic. But I'm all about the soundtrack in this movie out of anything. So I'm hoping to score a vinyl. So I'm hoping they just press it eventually.
Sure.
But I'm going to pick up the Blu-ray and I was either thinking that or maybe doing the shirt. But
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff. So
really cool stuff. It's hard to pick.
I feel like 2015 though, like vinyl is like a license to print money if you can afford to make it in the first place. And I feel like one of the more expensive parts of that is up front, right?
It's really pricey to make, so I don't think the filmmakers knew like the whole process of doing vinyl. Like they probably just were setting prices and stuff. But technically, you got to do like 100, a run of at least 100.
Right.
So I was like, wait, 25 vinyl? Like what's that mean? Is that like one of 25, and then they're gonna sell 1,000 once it like takes off? Because the soundtrack's pretty crucial,
Yeah, for sure.
So, but what's happening from my research is Mondo is going to do it.
Nice.
Mondo is going to press the vinyl.
They've
So-
become like the Scream Factory of vinyl releases.
yeah,
Well, I mean, that's one of my favorite mediums to collect because you get the digital download anyway. You get really cool posters, you get artwork, you get a lot of like really neat kind of underground stuff that you can get nowhere. So, I mean, vinyl's a great. It's kind of like a book, if you will. You know, I do put it on my shelf, but I enjoy it. I love listening to it. I have a nice setup, and I get to experience the whole album and enjoy the artwork and look through all the liner notes and use what kind of instruments they use and all that good stuff. So,
is your record player in your man cave, sir?
Yeah. I built a DJ booth down here.
It's a DJ wall.
It's a DJ wall. Yeah, it's got a lot of vinyl and stuff. I have a lot of but films soundtrack stuff for me is one of my favorite genres. So, you know, that's kind of what got me into electronic music. You know, Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
First movie to do it to me. So, yeah. But I mean, this movie was super awesome with the soundtrack. So when I went to the Indiegogo, I saw they were all sold out. I was kind of bummed, but I heard Mondo's doing it. It's just Mondo stuff sells out in like 10 minutes. So I'm going to be on it. I'm going to get it, but it's going to be, you know, you got to be on the ball on the internet, you know?
Yep.
So what I do want to touch on before we jump in more into the flick is, so RKSS is a collective of three individuals. I think it's very similar. I would say that's similar to Astron 6 because they sort of merge their love of you know, the 80s aesthetic, filmmaking, and everything. And I mean, this is the only thing I've seen from RKSS, so I don't have much else to go on. I know they did a bunch of shorts. This is their first feature as far as I'm aware. And you know, that's the impression I get, is that they're similar to Astron 6 in spirit anyways. And definitely when looking at the flick, it definitely get a little bit of that vibe. I feel like they have something different entirely going on than Astron 6. So I think the parallels will end right there. But it's interesting to see, because you don't see too many filmmaking collectives, right? I mean, you know, sometimes you see brothers, sisters, or just duos in general, but you don't see often when you see more than that, like 3 to 5 people, you know, spearheading a flick, you know?
I feel like it's going to be very rarely do you have an instance like where, say, Astron 6, who are all doing it on their own before. But I think it's very economical in the sense where if you even look at the infrastructure of like the Deadites, it takes like 1 or 2 of us to do all that stuff and still have like big kid jobs, you know? Like no one person does any one thing involving like the Deadites infrastructure wise. So like even like dabbling my feet again in contemporary filmmaking, I feel like it's great because there's just like, you know, you have the opportunity to get stuff done and still like do your part the way you want to without having to worry about, you know, the other stuff that an independent filmmaker used to have to do when I first tried to do it. And you know this too, Wolfie, from back in the day. I had to be the producer and the director and the writer and, you know, all these other jobs that made it not fun because, you know, you can't pay anybody else to do that stuff.
Yeah, of course. So that's one thing I'm sure we'll talk more about as we get deeper into the flick. But let me go ahead and read the synopsis here. In a post-apocalyptic wasteland, a comic book fan dons the persona of his favorite hero to save his enthusiastic friend and fight a tyrannical overlord. Pretty accurate.
Yep.
It doesn't, you know, it gives you the basic story.
As IMDb
synopsis go. Yeah,
it's not only accurate, it's strangely concise.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's no click for more here.
So, you know what? Let me go ahead. I'm gonna shoot on over to you, Jim, and I kind of want to get your thoughts on this because, as I stated earlier, you're our, you know, resident 80s specialist. So I know you love the score. Obviously, we talked a little bit about that, but what did you think about this flick, and how evocative of the 80s was this for you?
You know what? It's actually a really well done film because they mention it's 1997.
Yep.
But it's kind of done in an 80s way.
For sure.
And I think that's where it's awesome for me because I graduated in 98 and I kind of reconnected with the whole resurgence of the 80s, you know, once like DVDs were made available, and just kind of getting back into the old films. You're like, oh my God, I watched this all the time when I was little. So, and that's when collecting kind of got really big too, with with trading cards and just that whole culture, is very like kind of all this indie kind of really wild take on filmmaking. And it's like this guy had really nice equipment and he made this indie film, but everything about it, as far as the blood spraying and the dramatic shots, but I loved all the characters were really fun. I mean, this movie was super fun.
Right.
And I thought it was really neat to see his journey. Definitely some sad moments in the movie, but I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but
sure.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the movie was such a treat for me because it was one of those nods to the 80s, but also nods to the 90s. And you got a little bit of everything in this movie, and it still felt fresh and contemporary. So it really kind of hit on the last 4, decades, I guess, if you will, with filmmaking.
I agree. And also, like this did a thing that I think that the not only is it an 80s homage, and I often wonder how things like this will play. It's the mark of a film like this, whether it's awesome or just like. These things can go two ways. They can be awesome all the way around, or be lip service to like folks like, say, me and Monster Zero, who like this film owed a lot to like the not just 80s films, but also the 80s Italian like trash cycle.
Yeah.
Like the Jim Williams and I always say his name, MZ. What's the guy that made Rats and
Mattei.
Oh, Rats was amazing, dude.
Yeah. What?
Rats was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruno Mattei.
And like a lot of those films, like the stuff that came out in the wake of it had its first it had the first finger of the shocker in after Escape from New York, but the one went in the stink after Mad Max. So like for me, this plays like a beautiful cover album to a weird subgenre that was like full of weird referential homages as itself, which makes it hard, but I also feel like this film, because I'm watching this and I'm seeing the influence that the spaghetti western films had on these like futuristic gladiator films and like Fall of Manhattan and stuff like that. So, but as I'm watching it, I'm also noticing, and God bless her, she's super, super cool, but my special lady friend was also enjoying this, which made me realize that like they had just made a good movie here, which like always isn't the case, when you're paying that much lip service.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing here is they didn't just go for nostalgia, because I think that would have been easy just to go and like hit all the high spots, so to speak,
right,
and forget about making a good movie.
Yeah.
But at the heart of this is a good movie that makes references to all these things that we grew up as.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that kid, you tell me that kid was not living in the Christian Slater's bunker apartment from Gleaming the Cube, and I will call you a fucking liar. And that's another thing that's great about this, is that in a lot of these things where the homage is like color, like when we talk about Kung Fury, which we all absolutely love, but that was like a digitally created world. In Manborg, which we absolutely love, but again, a digitally created world. A lot of the guts of this and the art direction wise were built into the background, so like if you're not realizing the funniness that a Viewmaster, right, is would be a 50-year-old toy, in 1997 versus when this it's a contemporary toy of the 80s, which is something that would happen a lot in these Italian throwback films and stuff like that. They would use like the shit they had around and be like, oh well, this is something that Grammy had when she was a kid, and it would be like a contemporary toy, a Viewmaster. And comics, the comics looking so much like Marvel's cinematic adaptation line, like help me, I know there was another one. Last Starfighter was one in Conan was one. I know they had to put out more than that though.
I have that soundtrack as well on vinyl, and it was done by Drew, and the artwork was done by Drew Struzan. Friggin' amazing.
He is my
Sorry.
favorite Japanese wrestler, Drushin Thunder Liger.
Sorry, I've been drinking. Drew
No.
Struzan. There you
It's
go.
okay.
Folks.
Actually, the comic reminded me something out of like Caliber or even like
Sure.
Mirage at that time.
That's totally fair.
And I love the way this movie was edited because it has an editing style to it that you just don't see anymore, that you obviously saw back in the 80s, and not really so much in Hollywood, wide theatrical release films, but almost like made for TV films or after school specials. There's a certain vibe to the way the editing is done and the way the areas in which the music comes up.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
It's very, very reminiscent of the 80s style, as well as the gore effects, which were fantastic. I mean, it was old school, contemporary. It was right there in your face. No, very, very little digital CGI shit going on.
And when it was there, I felt like it really stood out too.
Yeah, that was very obvious. And also,
Do you guys think the effects were very like Power Rangers, which was a '90s reference? Like even the sound effects were kind of a combination of He-Man mixed with Power Rangers.
Well,
I would throw in early Peter Jackson style bad taste style type of effects as well.
I think what's interesting about that, and I think where you are right, but where it probably fits in more neatly into the genre is while Power Rangers was a '90s media entity here, it came from like a mid '80s media entity in Japan.
Yeah, it was like Japan reference. But this had a Japan feel. Like I could see this movie done in like Japan, or done in strictly like Japanese with dubbing, and it could be just as cool.
Yeah, well, I mean the arterial fountains were very, samurai.
The slice and spray.
Oh, I could definitely see this as an anime.
Sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no question about that.
There was a lot of reference. I think the guys, they did their homework before they did this movie, but they also, they shot it in their own fresh way. That the coloring, I think you guys mentioned earlier too.
Oh, yeah.
Everything about the flick was done really well, and I felt like it was a collaborative effort with a lot of really good art directors and a lot of good crew. The crew was just a bunch of young guys that are awesome because these guys have probably been doing design and sound and everything for 10 years now.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just so indie. Everyone just contributed and made this thing happen. I mean, there was a lot of people involved.
Super self-aware too. I'm sorry, Monsters. I'll throw it right back to you. But I feel like one thing this film did great that few others do. Like a perfect example of this is like I'm a big fan of the DJ filmmakers. And one thing that I think and he's obviously the best at most of this, but like Tarantino does better than like say a Zombie. He manages to build into his world scenes that are the things that they're referencing without taking it out of there. So like there was very spaghetti Western things in this, and they were Leone style spaghetti Western. You know what I mean? But the film didn't come to a screeching halt. The music didn't change. The lighting didn't change. Like Jim said you did their homework, and I think he's 100% right because I feel like they picked like the elements of those films that fit the best together in this puzzle they were building, this mosaic that they were making.
Even the intro was, with the movie Rad. You had the BMX bike move with the little bling on the logo. Yep. Like that whole intro scene was like perfect. I mean, Kung Fury did that too, which I was like, yes, great reference. I mean, it's kind of like one of those like little tricks that they do, but I think they kind of just grabbed all these little elements of like what makes a movie so much fun to watch. The whole plot and everything, like there was elements grabbed from like every great flick that we all love.
I agree. And they shot the bikes here, which I thought was super interesting. In that same like leering fetish's eye that the the Australian exploitation genre that gave birth to Mad Max shot cars.
Oh yeah, down near the wheel, low to the ground.
Yeah, like they definitely like shot them, like with like
BMX bandits and shit like that.
Yeah, like in a way, and it was just kind of like it obviously doesn't work as well with a BMX bike, which like showed that this movie knew that it not only had its heart in the right place, like it was very conscious of what it was at every time. You know,
there was a certain bike chase scene that kind of like seemed like it was a little bit slow.
Yeah.
But yet kind of worked.
Yeah. It's it was
the chase scene on the bikes is great. Like how ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
It's like
gleaming the cube.
Yeah, it's like gleaming the cube, right? Yeah, I mean you have those. You're like, all right, let's get out of here, and then they hop on bikes.
Right.
You know?
On the skateboard running away from a guy in a car, it can still avoid him.
Yeah. So basically, it turns into basically a kids' adventure movie.
Right.
But with the adult themes going on with it. So really everybody can enjoy a movie like this, and young kids can enjoy a film like this.
Sure. Well, I don't know if you'll show the young kids.
5-year-olds in
Oh,
the back.
come on, why not?
Nothing
Why
like a
not?
mother getting shot and head exploding. That's fun.
getting hit. You know, I do have to say that the 9-year-old that Monster Zero in like 9 out of 10 times would have corrupted by giving him Hostel on his 9th birthday is probably like and I'll throw myself here. And I don't know everybody's background quite as well, but I'll just be bold and say that kid is way more functioning than anybody on this podcast. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what fucking happened. That kid's got like jobs and has his life together and he's got a nice mustache. Like,
so I wanted to talk a little bit about the score because I have the band Lamatos, I think is how you say that. They are a fairly new band. It looks like they released their first album in 2013, and they've been doing a bunch of remixes. But let me just read a quick little bio. It says, Lamatos is a French-Canadian electronic band from Montreal. Their music is a powerful dance machine mix of pop melodies and melancholic synthwave inspired by 80s movie soundtracks, composers such as Vangelis, John Carpenter, Tangerine Dream, Shuki Levy, and Goblin.
Nice.
Jim, if only we knew some bands that did stuff like that.
Oh my god, dude! You guys have no idea. I've gone completely psycho on the soundtrack.
It fucking hurts sometimes. Like
it's so good.
Yeah,
so good. And I looked these guys up. I've been on their Bandcamp pages. I've kind of scoured the internet to learn as much as I could about this because the first time I heard about this movie was through some random searching the web, and I found someone posting about the synthwave soundtracks, and this movie popped up, and it won a bunch of awards, and I was like, oh, let me check this out. And as soon as I hit the trailer, I was like, oh my god, this is like these guys started at the same time as Kung Fury, but they like took a different approach. So I was so happy that it was like, they did a full movie with one composer, if you will. It just, the whole thing was very tied together, and I love how they added nods to like Vangelis and stuff, where the songs would kind of build into like really kind of epic parts, and then the songs would slow down, and it would have these little like delicate moments.
I guess kind of my bitter point of it is like, if nobody is putting your awesome music into soundtracks, like we don't have a fucking chance.
No, dude. I mean, my music was recently used in the movie The Gift.
I know. Cool. I was very excited to see that your music was in a movie that was 75% brilliant and 25% ridiculous.
What movie?
Yeah,
The Gift.
I agree. I went and saw the movie in the theater. I'm sad to say that the part where my music played was so like in the most loud part of the movie ever. I recorded it with my phone, and I couldn't even prove it to you right now. Like, I was like, wah, wah, wah. I was like, but that's cool. They used it, and I got the credit. I took a picture of the credit, so.
We stuck around to watch it.
But, like, yeah, man, my ultimate dream is to, score movies. And, like, watching a movie like this, I got to be honest with you. If I score this movie and someone gave me this job, I think the guys that did it did a damn good job, man. They would have gave me a run for the money, and because that's how much I enjoyed it. Like I was like, fuck, they did everything I want to do, you know?
Yes.
Guys, I literally heard about this soundtrack about 1 million hours now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can only imagine. Yeah.
Maybe 1.5 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I I'm a huge fan of film and I'm a huge fan of music, and these guys like set the mood like for the very sad parts, the synth melodies and the dark bass tones where you felt like the ominous presence of like certain characters. I mean, they really added the element. Like I'm more focused on
Michael
that.
Ironside's like theme, like his reoccurring theme in it. Like
Right,
yeah.
and that's Vader and like every other reference of like Star
Oh,
Wars.
it's awesome.
When you hear that, you know what's about to go down.
I don't know, like it. This is the ball washing part of the show, but I'm such a phenomenal, huge fan of yours. While I think these people did great, this is another film that I saw that like.
No, I would have given my left nut to do the score for this movie.
There's two people in my opinion that could have done this better, and one of them's on the phone right now, and one of them never leaves his house and is in a band with Wolfie and I. Yeah, but
to be humble, Jim is a huge fan of yours as well, and he talks about you guys very highly.
Well, thank you.
I love you guys. Yeah, man.
DeCarnio, you got to go, and I love his new album too. In fact, you'll probably like his new album more, Joe. But you gotta go pick out the Teeel record with 3 E's, University Heights, and you'll be like, it'll put you in a horror movie making mood all day long. Like it's fucking outrageous.
I'd love to check that out.
Yeah.
The second album was definitely a tribute to the growing up in the 80s and 90s,
I think,
and reference to movies. I mean, all the tracks in that album.
I think kind of knowing what he listens to, I think Joe may like the newer record like more, because he likes to have music that puts his dancing shoes on, I think.
But the newer stuff's definitely a little bit more dancey, and the only reason why I really went that direction in the new is just playing out. Like you don't want to play kind of like sad electronic music. People kind of are like, all right, so you play the more fun stuff out live, and people really want to dance and have fun. And you guys write like very active, fun music. So
well, the difference is we have to slow it down because I think people are like, I'm afraid that guy's gonna throw out his hip. Could they play a ballad so we make sure that guy's okay? Like that skinny guy with the hockey mask looks like he just pulled his groin. Like this. Bring back those 2 guys from New Jersey. They were young.
Yeah, young and spry on that stage.
I wasn't worried about their health.
I love it. I love you guys. Good stuff. No, but I mean, seriously, Turbo Kid was great for me, and I'm glad you guys. I thought of you guys instantly because I'm like, no one will appreciate this kind of shit more than you guys.
Yeah,
and me.
Yeah, this is right in our wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, I have like 2 friends out of 1 billion that are into this kind of shit.
It's what we bonded on. It's right. Like I'm sure listener. I don't know if Joe's heard it, but like Joe, we met Jim and found out about Teeel because he had a song on University Heights called The Deadites, and when we posted the big scary monster up,
so good.
Every single time University Heights, this song Deadites will come up. So I finally fucking bought it under being superstition, being like, maybe if I buy this record, like our record will finally show up. Because like when you post a record on iTunes, it takes forever.
Days, yeah.
And I fucking fell in love with it. And like, I don't know. I think Wolfie finally like contacted him because we thought he was like a huge giant rock star. And like we've played multiple shows together, and it's like we just got in a room, and it's like when you and I talk on the phone for 7 or 8 hours at a time, Joe. It's like it was just like it's just bonding on all the shit we all loved, and it's just like this movie.
I'm pretty sure every time we're on this show, we go over like 3 hours.
3 years.
We're like, all right, it's like 4 a.m. guys. We need to go to bed. But we don't need to.
Yeah. So one other thing I wanted to bring up is because we haven't mentioned this yet, but this film, the executive producer of this film, I think definitely had. I think he had at least a bit of an influence, because I see some of his style in it a little bit.
Yeah.
Was Jason Eisner from
Yes.
Hobo with a Shotgun, not Hobbit with a Shotgun.
Did I see an Edgar Wright credit in this, or was the
No, the
drug
guy,
still
the guy
going?
who played Skeletron.
Yeah.
His last
Oh.
name was Wright.
Okay, I was wrong.
His name was Edwin Wright.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it was executive produced by Jason Eisner, and who has listened to the show before.
yeah, he complained at us. Didn't he listen?
No, he didn't complain.
He killed the dog.
He
Yeah.
killed the dog. We were mad at
That's
him for
right.
killing the dog in was it?
ABC's of Death.
ABC's
No,
of
not
Death.
ABC's, VHS 2.
Oh, right.
Yep.
And he replied, and the funny thing is, we reviewed Raiders of Atlantis on that same episode, and one of the characters in his short was wearing a Raiders of Atlantis shirt. So crazy. He's a super cool guy though, and I love his films. I love his film output, what he's worked on, and he hasn't done anything since then, as far as I know, as far as directing. But if he's going to be an executive production role,
Sure.
like I definitely would love to see him produce more films if this is going to be the caliber of films that he's going to be a part of.
Since I'm fucking on a roll of being wrong, didn't he have some sort of production role in the back end of Wolf Cop too?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, good.
You're right there.
Yeah,
you're
you're-
Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
And it was
I'm Edward Collins.
it was also produced by Aunt Timpson, who
It's not a real name.
What about Uncle Timpson?
So Aunt Timpson, he is one of the producers for the ABCs of Death series, and originally they sent in T is for Turbo for ABCs of Death, and for whatever, I guess I don't know if it was just to submit to get put onto the flick, or if I don't know the story behind that, but anyways, it got the attention of Aunt Timpson, and he reached out to them, and I think that's how the feature got made, was from them sending in a submission for ABCs of Death. So Aunt Timpson, who has been part of the ABCs of Death series, was helped bring this to light. So I just wanted to get that out there because I wanted to talk about the other connections.
This was part. I'm part New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
Again, that weird stereotype though, like that nothing not funny comes out of New Zealand, like that strange tiny white like conceit that he has, that it's like a fucking subcontinent of comedians.
Well, one thing. So I want to, before we get off too much of a tangent, I want to get your thoughts, Joe DeCanio, because there's a bit of an age gap here, and you're a child of the 90s, right? Would you say?
2000s.
Yes, the 90s, yeah.
Yeah. So, and we're children of the 80s. So I'm curious to get your take on this film and what you thought about it.
Well, I had a blast with this. I thought that the timing of this was perfect. I mean, we just got Mad Max, and we also just got It Follows, and it felt like, at least the music of It Follows felt very much like this to me, and I just thought that...
I love it. Sorry, that was me.
I've neutralized the warhead.
Yes.
I
Sorry,
just-
continue. Sorry. Yes, I love that soundtrack so much. Continue.
Well, I'm obsessed with it. I've been the biggest champion of it this year, and
You
I think-
run to it though, which is fucking weird because that's the one when it comes up on shuffle, I wake up like scared.
Would you say?
Like you run to the It Follows soundtrack, right?
Oh my god. Yeah, and
Yeah.
the guest as well.
Yeah, the guest I get, but It Falls comes on shuffle, and I'm like, is my house falling down while I'm sleeping? Like, am I on fire?
Actually, that It Follows score is it completely struck a chord with me, and we talked about that quite a bit on our review when I was on the show months ago. And I just think that this movie, not only was it super creative and super gory, I thought it was hilarious, and I was just really surprised at. Because when you walk into some of these video-on-demand movies these days, you tend to have... I didn't have low expectations for this. I thought it looked like fun from the trailers, and it was getting a lot of positive buzz. But, you tend to go in a little more reserved. And I just think, I just thought this was creative as hell. The standout for me was the female lead,
Yeah.
Florence LaBeouf. And I loved her. And I like the kid as well. And I mean, the best way to kind of pitch this movie to someone that doesn't know about it or whatever is, it really reminded me of like Mad Max for kids. You know,
Nice.
that's what it kind of reminded me of, and as if Mad Max was on a smaller scale. You know, and I agree with all the references you guys are talking about. Like, I'm looking at the poster right now, and it looks like, you know, the first Star Wars poster clearly is being channeled there.
Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Bruce
also
Struzan.
also you have a you know, you get a little bit of a Terminator vibe here, and just a total John Carpenter B movie vibe. Everything I'm a fan of is kind of here.
A little bit of Blade
And-
Runner.
Oh yeah, there was an amazing Blade Runner homage, right?
Yeah,
The unicorn head.
Well,
Right.
guys, that's where they even referenced the music with the band earlier was references that Vangelis did the soundtrack for Blade Runner.
Yep.
Really? You're right. I always juxtapose that as one of the Tangerine Dream ones, but they did Legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Vangelis did Blade Runner.
Oh, by the way, Jim, I just got a really, what I think is a really rare Tangerine Dream score. I'll send it to you. I just scored the Mystery Mile score on CD.
If you send that to me, I'll make out with you.
I'll videotape that.
Considering we are engaged,
Can I
sir,
tongue
I feel
your
like that's an empty promise.
I can tongue your neck hole.
And I will definitely videotape that.
Yeah,
That's the follow-up.
I've neutralized the warhead!
No, that's really gross. I almost threw up in my mouth.
You know what? We could find someone else to be involved in this, and you could stick your tongue down my throat, stick the tongue out the hole, and someone else could make out with my neck hole.
Guys, I figured it out. The person that stole the thing from your house will definitely have to lick your neck hole.
Ugh.
All right, way to go, way to go!
Oh man,
That's bad
Well,
times.
you know what else I liked in this film was the
That's pure gore.
Yeah.
is the use of the matte paintings in
Oh
this.
yeah.
I thought you know, drawing and artistry like that has advanced over the years, but it looks like they scaled it back to give it that 80s vibe.
Yep.
That they didn't over enhance on a whole bunch of things when it comes to this. They just drew out, you know, the essentials, and that was pretty much it. Which pretty much calls out for the 80s as well, and as well as the gore, and this was just a fun flick. Another movie that I want to reference, but I don't want to say in what way because it is a bit of a spoiler, is the movie Heart Beeps with if you've ever seen the movie Heart Beeps with Andy Kaufman and
I played a little bit of the score there.
with Andy Kaufman and Bernadette Peters.
I've never seen it, but I know of it.
Yeah.
What I was going to say, I was going to do my Raven Shadowism of the night.
Nice.
I was going to say this is Mad Max meets Cherry 2000 meets Dead Alive.
I got definitely Dead Alive vibes.
Yeah.
Especially
Mostly
when it
because of the
comes to
gore.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
violence,
Yeah.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, is where it really Dead Alive. And I just couldn't believe, you know, I immediately after the movie was over tried to find the budget because I just really couldn't believe, you know, the amount of practical violence and just the amount of gore that's in this is really astonishing. And by no means does this feel, what I liked about this movie so much is that it felt so authentic in the way of its innocence of being
agree.
made. Where it's like the vision here is clear, and it felt like it was never tampered with. And it
I
almost
agree.
scared me how authentic it felt.
Yeah.
In the sense that it felt like it had a budget, and it felt like it was channeling something
Right.
clear. And for me, you guys were just talking about the CG a little while ago. You know, for me, I thought like the cheesy, you know, very noticeable CG fit in this context. Not too many times would I say that for certain kind of movies, but in this case, this kind of B movie throwback,
Yeah.
all the cheesy, clear CG, especially like the CGI blood and stuff, it kind of, you know, that was one of the few things that kind of reminds you, oh, it is, we are in the digital age, and it kind of has the flair of movies now, but in a cheesy way, and I mean that in a good way, in the best sense. You know, and I just thought, you know, besides being a retro movie that's trying to do a lot of things practically, I was just really impressed with even the costuming.
Yeah.
Like I think Skeletron was probably my favorite.
Oh, it's
design.
Oh yeah,
word.
yeah.
I I love when you.
Skeletron, dude, that guy. Oh my God, that's how iconic.
I love when you see something now.
I came a rainbow when I saw him. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's the next kind of sidekick villain with that little head twitch and the crazy slow saw, but somehow it cut through people like it was like the best saw ever.
Yep.
Is that action figure on the thing?
I feel like I am always suspect when I see one of these films that has something that was something that they would have done in one of the films that this is referential to, like matte paintings, for instance. And I'm always curious if it is a like when it's somebody that's on, when it's not, I'll just say it, when it's not Tarantino, I am always curious, like always suspect, like, well, like, you know, it fits, but maybe they did it because there isn't the money there. Maybe they did it because this is like a cheap production or whatever. But with this, like, I felt like everything was there just to serve the premise. Like, I never one time felt like there wasn't a thing that didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like that was for it, you know? How do you know the lyrics of this already? He can't sing one goddamn Deadite song.
The reason why, you want to know why I know this? Because this singer is also an 80s reference. This is a song called Thunder in Your Heart, and it is sung by Stan Bush. And Stan Bush does the soundtrack to the Transformers movie. Now, if you go to YouTube and put in Thunder in Your Heart, Stan Bush, you will find a video for this song, and it's an amalgamation of a bunch of different scenes from the Transformers, either movie or TV show, but it's done in computer form. It's done in CGI form, and it's done really, 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 really well. You gotta check it out. It's awesome.
I got an 80s Stan Bush reference for you, ready, that I never thought to tell you about that you'll appreciate.
Yeah.
I wrote the theme to a professional wrestling pay-per-view that my marching orders were for it to be a parody of the song from the cartoon Mask.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because the
Mask.
Right. And as it turns out, the person who performed it for the pay-per-view was Stan Bush.
Nice.
So
Stan
Dynamo
Bush-
essentially wrote the lyrics for a song of Stan
You know,
Bush
in
sang,
typical that
Nice.
company fashion,
Wait,
I
are you
guess.
for real? He wrote that? I own that T-shirt.
What?
Mask.
No. I wrote a parody of that song.
You did?
Yeah, I'm 11.
Parody.
I was 11 when that came out. I know I am old.
Can you say that?
I was all about Mask when I was a
Yeah,
kid.
dude,
Yeah.
Mask's the jam.
Yeah, I loved Mask, and it was awesome, and I took it really seriously.
No, that intro is one of the greatest YouTube intros. YouTube
I agree.
Mask cartoon intro.
Yeah.
And just watch that and be like, oh, the little robot guy that he rode, and
Yeah,
oh my
T-Bob.
God.
I probably listened to it that weekend like 1,000 times because I wanted to get the like you know, I didn't want it to be a parody that was like just slightly like it. I like worked really hard to get like the afflictions right and stuff like that.
All right, you got to post this up tomorrow ish?
I think we're gonna hear it right now.
What?
Go in.
Play, yeah.
This is the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Go.
Dynamo wrote the song.
Is this
for
it?
Viewers
Yeah,
are
I
now
think so.
blessed with this
Yeah.
track. Gotta turn it up though.
We got to talk over it so that YouTube doesn't ding us. What we'll do is we'll post this up
Yes.
on the Trick or Treat Radio
Wait,
group.
wait. Post the link in the chat room for the chat room.
And,
All right.
and I'll give like Stan Bush credit. I probably would have done an even better job if I knew who I was writing it for. But I will give him credit. Every little thing that he changed here made the song better. Like in just like you know, words and turns of the phrase and stuff like that. But it was pretty cool. It made
That's awesome.
it's one of the things that made a lot of the bullshit of working for people at times like well, this is fucking cool, like Stan Bush like saying this thing, you know, like fucking like it's one of those things that are double cool because for 100% of the world nobody gives a fuck about the Mask song that wrestling company or Stan Bush, but like the people
Dude,
who are
I
like
do.
dialed into
I
that
do.
shit, like that's like
Put them all together.
yeah, that's like a fucking cool thing. So I'm very proud of that.
Wolfenstein.
Did it look like they saturized or desaturized the colors in this
In the movie?
in the movie? Yeah,
I think that's how New
yeah,
Zealand looks. I don't want to be
yes.
mean, but
it might. I don't know. I mean,
I
That's
saw
the
those
style. Yeah,
Hobbits.
totally. The coloring and all that, it was desaturated, and then it had kind of a blue overtone.
Yeah.
Because the blood even looked kind of like Hershey syrup ish, you know.
Yeah.
So, it was definitely desaturated, but it was shot at like there was a lot of like drone shots, and there was a lot of different camera angles that were like really well, like very high tech camera work, which was cool because they didn't go the Kung Fury route where like the tape was like distorted. It was very clean.
right. Yeah, I like that too. I didn't
It
think
was
of that till you
clean,
brought it
they-
up, but
they-
like
yeah, they definitely desaturated all the red tones and made it feel kind of like it was recording it on bad equipment, but it was really well done. Like there was when he's riding on the bike and like you had a drone shot that was like 300 feet overhead, you know, in the canyons. Like I thought the whole atmosphere they created, the whole world, everything about it, was just so unique. Where they just made this. You believe that this is dried up. It was the Mad Max feel.
Right.
It was kind of like this is the extinction, and there's only so many people left, and they're doing whatever they can do to survive, kind of thing. But it referenced all the different genres that made it feel right, and all the different just they touched on all the things that you want to see in a movie.
yep.
Yeah, I think, and you guys touched on this a little bit, but I think it did a really impressive job of making the entire world look like a post-apocalyptic wasteland on such a seemingly small budget, right?
In a different way too, because they were filmed where they were filmed, and because they like a lot of these came out trying to look like Road Warrior, like there wasn't that like cliche lens flare, like super saturated like brightness and like the orange and white, you know?
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to mention was I think a lot of the throwbacks, a lot of the nostalgia was used as like an essential part of the story and not just like a throwback. Like for instance, we have the turbo glove, which is like the power glove, right?
Yep.
You guys remember the power glove?
I do.
But that ended up being a huge fucking part of the movie. It's not like it was just like a throwaway thing to like make an 80s reference, you know?
Yeah.
This actually worked.
Yeah, exactly. So there was things like that. There was how about Apple's heart meter?
Yep.
Apple,
Oh yeah, very Zelda.
Zelda, yeah, for sure.
I love that.
Apple was
Zelda
fucking
games.
hot. Yo.
Yeah, she's cute.
Oh my God, Apple for life.
Like the snurd, they'll keep the doctor away. I like the cowboy.
The movie really reminded me of Cyborg from back in the day.
There
from
you go.
Jam.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How the entire atmospheric perspective was always the same thing.
Right.
And it still gave you a good gravity of the situation, but never really changed.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree with that.
I will say Raven Shadowboard of the Cowboy. I would actually say he's in it a little bit too much. I actually would have liked a little more Apple in there versus the Cowboy, if you catch my drift.
Oh.
And I don't know. I really couldn't get enough of Apple and the kid. I mean, those two really seem to mesh. And
Yeah, they
I
did.
actually
She's
wish
got to
I
come back.
was-
There's got to be a part 2. She's got to just kind of be like the watch has to just bling in the beginning of like the intro part 2.
I agree.
And he's gonna go back and dig her up. And I mean, come on.
I was so disappointed that
So Ex Machina.
that there wasn't something like
Yeah.
that she didn't like there wasn't that after the credits or something. Like,
I kind of like that though
Yeah.
because it wasn't a
Who the hell
happy
wants
ending.
that?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But it
Nice
was so,
downbeat
like-
well, what's
ending.
funny is that they got to do the joke that a lot of spaghetti westerns got to do, where they had that kind of like heartfelt moment, and then they trot
off into the sunset.
Yeah, well, they have that heartfelt moment, and then you get the cheap villain heat by having like the sidekick or whatever kind of get gunned down. But because of what Apple is, they got to do that joke like 2 or 3 times, which I thought was awesome.
And that's where some the Manborg reference comes in too a little bit. The Manborg ending, right? With Apple. Similarities.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Manborg goes off to cyborg heaven.
It played all day to nobody at my house because nobody I thought people would actually want to watch movies, but I was pleasantly surprised they did.
People wanted to talk.
Yeah. Cyborg, by the way, and that was a good pull before, is a really interesting one because while I can never say his name, but he did a million movies that you know. While Albert Pune,
Pyun.
never made like futuristic gladiator movie. Like he was definitely like making comparable kinds of films at the same time. He's best known for like Cyborg might be his best known movie, but he also did like Sword and the Sorceress. Sword and Sorcerer, rather.
Did he do the Captain America 1990?
Yeah, he did the one where he ran to Alaska.
Yep. And the Italian
or ran from Alaska to Canada. Is that what it was?
And the Red Skull was an Italian fascist Nazi.
Which I mean, I guess it is at least on the same side of the bad guys. But it was very funny. The character that plays the way Apple, like, it took me the whole movie to figure out who it was, and I don't think any of you guys know her, but ever watch a movie and somebody in the movie reminds you of somebody so much, like, it almost takes away, like, your enjoyment, like, the whole time. Thank God my special lady friend came back into the room, and I flat out, like, asked her, because, like, that's always, like, a slippery slope when it's like, who does this ultra-hot girl on TV that I'm totally in love with right now remind me of? And it's usually like, oh yeah, your ex-girlfriend. And it's like, oh yeah, she's not that pretty.
Oh, your Nana.
Yeah, but
she's like, yeah, I kind of like her too.
Yeah.
You're like the first lady, and she's kind of like a 10.
Yeah. I love you much more. But yeah, and it was like, it got to the point where like I had like fucking Facebook open at one point, and I was like, who does this girl look like?
And then somehow you're on Pornhub. And
yeah. I'm like, sweetheart, I just have to make sure that this isn't the same actress who was in Redheaded Babysitter Gangbang.
It's for the show, hon.
Yeah.
It's for the show. It's the research.
Well, another reference that no one will get, but everyone who got killed in this movie, like as far as like an extra, looked like me and Monster Zero's friend Will Campbell, who used to work for like Newbury Comics. Like, like it looked like everyone. It looked like our friend Will got killed 8 million times.
He's like, I haven't shaved in 10 days. Let's shoot.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
What I want to know is where the hell can I get a glove to make people blow up? I'd fucking love to have one of those.
His costume was cool too.
Yeah, for sure.
The only thing I didn't like with that though is the origin story. Like they had to give him a comic book. To me, that's tired.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be there. Like it'd just be cool if he thought he was a superhero and he was like, "Oh, I'm Turbo Kid," whatever. You know what I mean? Like this movie doesn't need a comic book.
Wouldn't that become like
reference.
Kick-Ass though?
Well, hold on.
You know what?
Not really. Not
like,
so
like,
much because the movie's not a superhero film.
They're like, we can make a comic book now. This is perfect.
Well, the thing I liked about it was it's sort of like exposition shorthand because it sort of gives him that like hope and inspiration that he can do this. Otherwise, I don't think he would be able to get to that point. And if so,
he looks up to people the whole movie.
Yeah, and I think if so, it would have taken a long time to get to that point where he could stand up.
And when he actually found Turbo Man, it was kind of like also made it seem like there was like there was something more to the comics, right? Like when he, like that the comics were not just like
based on reality or
profit of the show, but there was at some point
propaganda, maybe.
Like almost Bible-istic or however you'd like to state that.
Yep.
See, I didn't like that.
Pre-prophesized.
I didn't like that really was a Turbo Man originally.
Turbo Rider.
Me neither. I wasn't crazy about it either.
Turbo Rider.
It's kind of like I don't like songs that mention party or rock and roll, and I don't like.
Not a big Ramones fan.
No, but I don't like it was too much. Like if
Just
Turbo
likes Kiss.
Yes.
It almost would have been cooler if he just came across this guy's costume. He has this glove. The glove is cool enough,
Right?
You know, and then maybe says one time, I feel like a superhero." Done. You know what I mean? Like that's all you need.
Or it could have been a different comic book. It could have been
Yeah.
Captain, you know.
He did throw the superhero reference out. He says it.
He does,
He
which
does.
is awesome. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, that was the little nod that you're like, okay, I was waiting for it. Oh, he said it. You know what I mean? I thought they tried to hit on all the little like nod, like it's almost like you wanted him to look at the camera and like wink at you, you know?
It gave it that cool, like, sort of Amblin thing, too, where, like, though it was in this, like, post-apocalyptic setting, like, it not only gave you that kind of, like, childish, like, hope, it gave you that childish, like, wish fulfillment that, like, you know, and this film was not super referential of those, but I thought in this state that 80s Spielberg films gave you. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess
it's that joke, like shop smart, shop as smart.
Right.
You know?
I guess it's more to the fact that I actually think this movie's cooler than referencing things here and there. Like, it actually feels the need to give this comic book, like, okay, this movie's for nerds, this movie's for the internet, this movie's for retro 80s throwback fans, B-movie fans, whatever. So now we have to give this character who has a really cool mechanism and a cool costume an origin story, and it, like, to this comic book.
Sure.
That, I guess what I'm saying is the movie's actually better than that. Like,
Right.
you don't really need that.
But as someone who feels like 9 out of 10 superhero movies, the first one is completely disposable because of the origin. Like, I feel like actual superhero movies should learn a fucking thing or two from this movie because it was
Right.
not. It didn't
I was
take up
just
very
gonna
much
say,
screen
like,
time.
Not to sound like a dick, but like, I'd rather watch this than pretty much every Marvel movie, and that's a bold
You
statement.
do
but,
sound like a dick.
slow
this
it
is so
down,
much. This is so much.
All right, we'll see you next time.
What is it with that fucking side of the Mason-Dixon New York border that they make them hate Marvel so bad?
I don't even think of.
We love
Don't
Marvel.
let this guy fucking shack me up.
Yeah, we love it. I'm just saying, I love Marvel so much, but like the budget they have, and it's amazing to see what someone with no budget can be just as great as a movie. Because I fucking love Marvel, man. They're amazing, but these guys are doing something just as fucking cool, and they're like nobodies to technically in the world. You know what I mean? Like they're like a crew of no one knows them, but they make great art. You know, and I think this movie is just as good as any Marvel movie that has been out in the last 5 years. And that's a bold statement, but this movie rocked.
In reference. I'm just going to say in reference there. Like, it's got to be in reference. Like,
it's awesome.
It's more of a
gas.
I think it's more of a preference thing. You know, it's nice. I mean, for me, I'd rather have the small movie that's super creative than something that is art by committee, carbon copy of a trend. Like this movie almost doesn't is not, as much as it is referential, it's not interested in being mainstream. It's not.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying about the comic book.
what
Like the
you'd say.
little moments of like the comic book and the origin story. It's like you don't need that. I would actually like to see a more subtle version of this.
And I think that that's just, you know, personal preference. I agree with what you're saying. Like, you know, I totally get it. But for me, I think I don't think the movie would have been as good without it, because you would have had to done more exposition and more to grow him as a character and how he got from this point to this point. Well, he's been looking up to Turbo Rider his whole life, so it was very easy to step into his shoes because he knew how he acted. He knew all that stuff. So for me, it was just shorthand.
Yeah.
And I understand what you guys are saying about it. I totally get it. But for me, it just works so much better. And it was just that film shorthand that made that big jump from being this kid who was lost in the wasteland to being a hero.
And he had plenty of time to learn about about Turbo Man. I mean, the wasteland,
it's Turbo Rider. You guys keep getting it wrong.
Turbo Rider, whatever the fuck.
He
Turbo
rides a
Rider.
tiger.
The apocalypse is going on for a number of years. You know, this isn't something recent. This has been going on for quite some time now.
It's 97, man. It's 97.
Yeah, I think also, you know, kind of the point of to what you guys had. Two things. I don't remember. I think it was Wolfie. It was either me or Wolfie. said, and I either agree with me or him, whoever said it, that I'm way less forgiving of films that have a quadrillion-dollar budget and don't get it right, as I am of a film that has like a lower budget. But what I will say about this versus the Marvel movies, like as much as I love them and as good as they are, like they're obviously made for like a wide audience, and I feel like if this was just lip service to like nerd fans by having a comic thing in there, I feel like it was actually for me though. There was no like nothing beneficial about it.
Yeah. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just good writing, and I
I agree. Like it was super economical writing for sure.
So the other thing I just wanted to point out, we're watching it here in studio, and so Apple appears in the kid's house. I don't know what you want to call it, his shelter, and
it's actually Christian Slater's shelter.
Christian Slater's, that's right. Yeah. So, and she's holding a box of cereal, and it's called Soleil Vert. Am I saying that right? Soleil Vert.
I was thinking Soylent Green, right?
Yeah.
It's what it was. That's the French title of Soylent Green. When the movie came out, that was the title in French. So I thought that was a funny.
At first, I thought it was another 80s reference to Soleil Moon Frye as Punky Brewster.
Soleil Moon Fries
is people. I'd eat her.
She's fucking hot, dude.
She is cute.
She's fucking hot.
So there was some great.
I actually got in trouble for saying that I'd rather be single and if not, Semi-Turbo Kid's girlfriend. And I actually got in trouble with that. Like I got several texts from several people that were like, "Oh, word." I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, she's a robot. Better than you."
The other nice reference, and this goes back to Soylent Green, was you guys remember where he's like, "The water, it's people."
Yeah.
Yep. But I was just really astounded how great of a job they did of making this a believable world.
Right.
Everything in this made sense in context of what they were trying to do. Yep. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Nothing had you make these major jumps of intuition of like, oh, well, how did that happen? Or how did that get there? Everything just made sense. And I think that's unbelievable. And that's a fucking Herculean effort for a post-apocalyptic wasteland film on a budget, you know? Yeah. Seriously, that's ridiculous.
That's spice.
Yeah. So I thought I really need to applaud everyone involved for making this a very believable world. Yeah. I think it's a phenomenal job, and this goes back to, we've talked about this a few times on Flicks. It goes back to that old school style of filmmaking, right? Like we did talk about it, I think, when we talked about Mad Max Fury Road, was you can tell Fury Road you could tell that whole thing had storyboards like drawn out for them. There was tomes of information about who these characters were and their backgrounds. You can just tell when you're watching that flick. And I feel like they did that for this. Maybe not that extensively, but I do feel that a lot of this, that's
a terrific point, Wolfie.
This is
a terrific point.
This is really great filmmaking.
Yeah, I think that and this is, and maybe, Joe as a filmmaker, could correct me, but my thinking of this and I think this goes for every form of art. You would be mortified if you knew the amount of like weird production notes I have about songs right now, just in doing demos. But like, I feel like a lot of great pre-production and a lot of great planning, and especially in terms of like storyboards and stuff like that, is how you make. I'm just going to throw out numbers that my feeble brain can understand. So, but like, it's how you make an $8 film look like a $20 film.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Like it's and that's what was so great about Mad Max. That looked like it was every bit as expensive as like a fucking Avengers movie. You were fucking flipping tractor trailers in every fucking frame. But like, I think it was just like there was pardon?
So just blowing up.
Yeah, there was like a post economy in filmmaking there. Yeah, that mattered. And same with this. Like, I feel like they just didn't waste any money. Like, maybe they got, needed some coverage or some other stuff that they didn't have. But, like, I really feel like they were, this was a nice little 80s reference to, like, My Bodyguard and stuff like that, too.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, we're looking at the scene where Apple is riding on the back of the kid's bike.
Yeah.
But, like, I think that, like like, and it's a really terrific point. Like, it's when you can see a movie that it's the difference between a movie like this and a million movies on Netflix Instant right now, where they just went out, they had a kind of a script, and they filmed it, and there's like a lot of lost opportunities because they knew what all their opportunities were because they put a lot of thought into everything ahead of time, and it's why they were able to cram all this art production in, and there was no like, you know, there's probably not very much on this commentary that we would have loved to have done this because, like, you know, in the budget constraints of what this is, I hate to use the word like homage, but in the budget constraints of what this paying tribute to, you know, it's not like they could have had a huge spaceship fight or a battleship fight or whatever, you know. So, you know, everything that they probably wanted is there, and that's the type of thing that comes from like smart pre-production. In this film, like, totally, I guess, reeked of it. It reeked of awesome from it.
It's also a testament, you know, to I think now, I would say in the past year, the amount of video on demand films that are higher quality than what's in the theater is so crazy. Like, it baffles me. Like, I just watched Z for Zachariah, which I would put on my top 10 of the year, and no one even knows it exists. And something like this as well would, you know, if the end of the year is as good as I think it's going to be, I don't know if this would be in my top 10, but it's in my top 10 as of now. And, you know, and Lost River we talked about, It Follows was a fluke that was going to be a video on demand movie. And it's just absolutely crazy where all the creative, original, you know, storytelling is taking place on your television now versus in a theater. Not to say that, you know, there isn't good movies in the theater, but, you know, I just think the way we're talking about these movies is the way they probably talked about movies in the 80s that were in the theater that were gambling $20 million movies.
Right.
You know, the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, how much did this cost? Like, it is not a piece of shit. You know, it's like, there's nothing cheap about it. It's a creative, and it goes back to what you said, Dynamo, where it's like, you look at you know, the Marvel films or whatever, and you say to yourself, it's nice to see something that's thought-provoking. And, you know, you even bring up Mad Max, which I actually prefer this movie over Mad Max. But the thing that these two movies have in common is that, to my knowledge, it took years of thought to be put into a script, to be put into production, to make the movie. Like, wasn't Mad Max supposed to be made in 2001?
Right.
And, you know, and that's why everybody's freaking out about it. Because it's a movie that's been thought over and 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 thought over. You know, it's like, that's the kind of movies you want to see. Right. I don't want to see a movie that's just, I thought of this yesterday, let's go into production without a script. I'm not interested in that movie.
It's one of those things that we've talked about a lot on the show. It's those passion projects, and it's when you sort of, we talked about it, I think most recently when we talked about the Soska twins with Vendetta, because clearly American Mary was a passion piece. They put a ton of effort into that. And then, you know, we watch him film like Vendetta. It's like, okay, like you cashed a check, you know, that's fine. I'm not putting them down for doing so. But they weren't emotionally invested in that movie as they have been for some of their other flicks. And I'm not saying that every filmmaker has to be as emotionally invested in every single film, but it would be nice just to know that the filmmaker is doing it because they feel strongly about it, you know?
Yeah, right, that's what you want to see. I mean, if I wasn't crazy about American Mary, but I would much rather have American Mary than half the crap that's out there. Yeah. You know, I'd much rather sit down and watch that movie and be like, you know what, it tried something, it didn't connect with me, but that was an okay movie. Mm-hmm. And what I remember about that movie the most is the design of that movie, the sexiness of that movie. Yeah. You know, the gambling kind of she's this oral surgeon or whatever. You know, I don't know. Like, it's just, it stands out to you. It's movies that you look back on, and in 10 years from now, you'll think to yourself, oh, it's this movie versus the billion-dollar franchise.
Yeah. And you can tell that these guys, this collective, RKSS, spent however long they worked on this, whether it was a year, 2 years, 3 years, however long it was, they probably spent every waking moment thinking about how to make this film better.
It just shows.
Yeah.
It just shows.
Absolutely.
It's so obvious. You know, I just couldn't believe how much... I mean, all we keep talking about, the underlining thing when we're all talking about this movie is I had fun. I had a blast. This made my day. You know, it's like that. it is actually not that many times that happens anymore, I think.
What did you guys think about the scene? We just watched it here in studio where she has her weapon. She says, "This is my gnome stick."
Yep.
Oh, I love
All right. Well,
Right.
we unfortunately do have to wrap this up in a few moments. We gotta move on. But I know we still have a few more things to say about it. Well, the other thing I wanted to get across was also, in addition to making a very believable world, I think they did a fucking phenomenal job of making you care about these
Yeah,
characters.
you're on tonight, Wolfie. Like 100%.
Like, how many films have we watched where we're like, who is the fucking protagonist? Who are we supposed to be siding with? Who, like, there's so many flicks. And this one, it's so clear. I'm not saying every film has to be like this, but this is clearly good versus evil.
Yeah.
The good guys, you fucking root so hard for them, and then whatever happens at the end happens, you're sad or happy or whatever, and then you have someone like Zeus played by Michael Ironside, and you have Skeletron.
Who's outrageous? We haven't even talked about Michael Ironside.
And they're
Right.
fucking badass.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are the definition of fucking evil.
Yeah,
Like, I miss evil villains like this.
Yeah, like Ironside. I mean, you don't think of him as I wouldn't say that he's taken a step down for doing a movie like this. Far from it. But I mean, I remember the days when he was doing Total. What was it? Total Recall, and while he's
Starship
the one,
Troopers.
he's okay. There we go. But since he's the one big selling name in this film, and he gets third, I think it's third billing. I mean, he gives that character his all, and the fact that the filmmakers are actually very, very careful to give the viewer enough time to know each character, what they're about.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be good versus evil, but you need to flesh out the characters. You
But it
can't just
seldom
do it black
loses
and white.
momentum. And that's
Exactly.
tough.
It's exactly. It's not boring at all. It's not boring. It's fun. It's exciting to watch these characters and watch these actors flesh out these characters, and it's amazing how much care and how much care has been given to character development in this film. It's absolutely incredible.
We have a little bit of chatter going on in the chat room. We have GSBH, Gene Six's Balding
What's up,
Head,
buddy?
is hanging out. He says, "Fuck the theater, stick with the video, VOD." And then Stephanie Wiley's hanging out. She says, "VOD is great. They let anyone in theaters these days." And then GSBH has a couple links. I'm not sure what these are, but
Don't click them.
exploitation.tv and shutter.tv. Not sure what they are, but click at your own risk, I guess. So as we start to wind this down a little bit, I also want to talk a little bit about, we've talked about the heart of this film. We talked about how believable the world is. We talked about the characters. What about the fucking gore?
Yep.
The gore is great.
There's so
Fine.
much.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's old fashioned, squirt on the wall variety from time to time. What are you laughing at? It's squirt on the wall
'cause he
variety.
squirts on the wall often.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
He's
I'm young. Check the ceiling.
He's not
baby.
talking about exploitation cinema, though. He's talking about Paris cinema.
Yeah.
Sorry. Boop. Paris cinema was a famous porn theater in Necronomicon, Massachusetts, where we're from, for those of you who aren't here.
And it is squirt on the wall variety, and I'm sure a shit ton of money
That
was
Rat's
saved.
third album.
A shit ton of money was saved
Squirt on
just
the
by
wall.
doing that. Just by doing that, and which is smart. It stays with the aesthetic of the 80s style filmmaking, and it works. And there's a lot of it. So I mean, my black little heart is all giddy
Yeah.
with the way this film was made as far as the gore goes.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a character who just came on screen now that I love, like, the kind of, like, that weird, like, second throwback to samurai film. McKay was, like, a big, like, harbinger of that and stuff like that. And, like, then when I saw the Basket Head Man, like, I knew that that's kind of where the heart was of this, like, so I thought that was very cool, and again, they did it without losing any of the aesthetic that they had pre-established.
The plasma ball. I mean,
Yeah.
when was the last time we saw a plasma ball?
Probably last time you peed in front of us.
What the fuck? I think one of my favorite gore gags in this was all I can call it is the gut cycle. When you have what was the guy's name? The guy who ran the scavenging business where the kid brought him stuff.
Oh yeah.
What was his name? I'll find it in a second. But so when that character was being tortured. Let me see, what's his name? Bagu, that's his name. So when Bagu was being tortured, they had his guts. Oh man, it was just such. I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but it's such a fucking great gore gag.
Yeah,
that's one thing I love. It had a lot of really great gore gags.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna head to a verdict. MZ's getting ready to head out of here, so I think that means that we should probably expedite things. And let's go to a verdict. I don't think we need a spoiler. I think everyone should just go out.
Let's
and
hurry it up too.
Check this out. What, you in a rush?
What, do you got a date?
Yeah, you got a
No,
date.
I don't like rush.
I do. I love them. All right, let's go to the verdict.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, verdict time. So this is when we let you know whether we thought it was a trick or a treat. Raven Shadow, the trick is the bad one.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you missed a week, so.
And treat is the good one.
Where are my notes?
Just to refresh your course. So.
All right, so we'll let MZ go first so you can head on out when you're done.
All right. You know what? I had a fucking blast with this flick, man. I mean, they did everything right as far as just about everything goes. You couldn't make a more perfect 80s style film in this day and age. You know, I mean, I think if you were to release it, if you were going in that DeLorean and shoot that shit back to 1985,
DeLorean, take a shit.
Well, don't shoot in the fucking DeLorean. Jim, we won't do that.
This could pass for a 1985 film, easy. And the acting was really good. I love how the characters were fleshed out, and you cared about the characters, like Wolfie said earlier. The music was great. I love the way it's edited very 80s style. The music coming in, when it came in, along with the editing, that also. Very reminiscent of 80s style. The gore is fantastic. Very early Peter Jackson, and it splashed all over the place. Man, I fucking love this movie. This is I absolutely loved this flick. And Apple is cute, and this is absolutely, most definitely, 100% treat.
All right, MZ, why don't you go ahead and say goodbye then?
Goodbye now.
Jesus.
Yeah, I got to bail out of here. Well, I got to go to New York. Hey, guys.
Are you
good
leaving
hearing
now?
you. No. I'm not leaving till Friday.
Oh. I don't know.
Right.
That's
It
okay.
is Wednesday as of this recording.
Right.
Why don't you hang out with the Triple J's?
John, Jay, Joe.
The streaks are hitting the road now. That's why I asked.
John, Jay, Joe. Good hearing from you guys. All right. All right. There we stand.
Yeah.
I'm Jim Smith. Good night.
Yeah. I think that was the other side of New York telling you no worries.
Yeah, really. Yeah, pretty much.
Fuck you.
All right. Yeah. Fuck you. No worries. Hey, fuck you. No worries over there. You hear?
I hear ya.
All right. Arrivederci, douchebags.
All right, MZ, see ya.
Would
All
wanna
right.
be
Now, Raven Shadow.
I like this movie.
But I didn't hate it.
It's just funny. I was watching it. It just started 15 minutes in, and Wife and Shadow came home. And she was like, what year is this? Jesus Christ. Your fucking belly is right here.
Wait, are you going to oh,
This
Jesus.
sucks.
Are you going to take your
What are you
pasties or are
doing?
you going to leave them
Why
here?
are you?
Did she say?
I don't want those to get lost.
Yeah, when you.
I'm not taking the pasties with me. Those are staying here.
Oh, come on.
on.
Take it with
I'm not
you.
taking the
No.
pasties.
When
Those
she.
Those
we'll
are staying
we'll
right
leave them here so that we'll have them for
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
shoot.
they're staying right here.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want you to use them in any extracurricular reasons.
Put them in
Use
that envelope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
They are. They
All
are.
right.
Now, when your wife came into the room and asked what year it was, did you say it's 2015, baby? We live in Leicester. Shit's just all old looking.
Turns out, you hear bubbles? What the fuck is going on?
That was him putting the mic in. I turned the
Yeah, it
mic
did
off.
sound like somebody logging off to
Christ.
Skype.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what happened?
Is it your first?
Get the goddamn microphone.
It's like fucking.
Raven Shadow, help me with this.
I can't. Well, I'm gonna help you with
Yeah,
it.
you want him to help you?
It's like you're
Jesus.
wearing a Def Leppard shirt and lost use of one of your arms.
All right, MZ. See you, bud.
Wow,
being said-
that was
that
a
being
mess.
said,
See you
what the
later,
hell is
Peter
he wearing?
Parkinson.
Joe, you don't
That being
want to.
said, what the hell is he wearing?
You don't want to know, Joe.
Yeah.
He's like showing his stomach. Was he Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street?
I wish.
Yeah, we all wish.
He's Johnny Dip.
Johnny Depp.
He's Captain Jack Harrowing.
So I think that Michael Ironside really could have done a fucking, Danny Trejo, as great as he is, but he really fucking brought it. You know what I mean? In this, he didn't just phone this in. He was great. I liked his origin. Did anyone think a little bit Zombieland at parts 2?
Not
Yeah,
at all.
the weapons. When they were like, you gotta always have a weapon.
Oh,
and
like
he,
the rules,
lists
right?
The rules. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously not the biggest reference stretch, but
That's a pretty big stretch.
I don't know.
I like the rules scene because she loves rules. Apple loves rules,
Ooh, I want you to break some rules.
and I love Apple. So.
Word, right? Like if anyone is any Sandman fans in the back, I think she could really play a good Delirium.
Yeah, I can
Delirium
see that.
reference. Delirium was actually named after one of my created after one of my Radiator picks, Tori Amos.
There you go. That's a fucking movie. I didn't love it as much as Manborg. I didn't love it as much as Kung Fury, but I had a blast. So I would say treat. I almost forgot for a minute. The good one.
All right. So we lost Jim and.
So that was Skype.
No, it wasn't. It was him. We lost him a few minutes ago, and.
Jim and
I
Joe
don't know that they're
Dose?
going to be back. They might have to be done for the night. So we're going to see if we can get them back. But if not, they're gonna bow out for the rest of the show. But safe to say, I think they both loved it. So
Right.
it would be a treat for both of those guys if they're not able to make it back. So Dynamo, why don't you go?
Treat.
All right, that's it, huh?
I have a new policy. I said everything that I had to say.
Okay,
It's a treat.
fair enough. Joe.
I thought it was a blast. I really, just to add, my favorite moment with the gore, I would say, Johnny, you just brought it up. I would say, besides the whole intestines bicycle, I would say the chopping the guy up in 3 at the end.
Oh, yeah,
that was
good.
so well done. And the fact that they didn't do it in CG was even more testament to it. I mean, when they would cut from someone being hit, it was clearly a dummy, and that was charming as hell, I felt. But then they would, go the extra mile to chop up the dummy. I don't know. It was great. I mean, you look at, movies like Evil Dead and even better, Dead Alive, I would say. And honestly, this had a Goonies vibe. You brought up the Amblin movies, Dynamo. I got a little bit of a Goonies vibe
for
watching
sure.
this movie. The Goonies meets Evil Dead. I mean, when are you ever going to say that again?
I have a script for you by an unknown writer called The Candy Thief, and I think though it won't get made, that script will make you say that.
What a great title.
Yeah, that's all I'm good at. It's really dialogue and titles. Other than that, I have no game. But I told you the other day, and I wasn't kidding. All I'm doing is writing high fidelity, say anything, and Gross Point Blank over and over again. Just adding monsters.
There you go.
That's my only
well,
tricks.
I'm more of a say anything kind of guy,
Oh man, this scene knocks out the fucking Tobey Maguire, Kristen Dunst out the box. This is a great kiss. Blood and an umbrella.
Oh, that scene was probably my favorite scene in the whole movie.
The skeleton man.
When he shoots the 10th person and the blood sprays all over the sky, and he holds the umbrella over her.
This is sexy.
I agree, Raven Shadow. Really sexy stuff.
Word. What are you doing later on, Joe?
Hanging out with you.
Yeah, we can do some commentary on this.
Yeah, I agree.
Gene Siskel's balding head says, "Is Raven Schneider drunk? Chime in, bro."
I was drunk on Saturday.
Totally wasted
You were
again.
almost blackout drunk.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
Oh,
I think the question is, when is he not drunk?
Well, no, I know how it happened because when I got there, I said, "Raven Shadow, you're drunk." You're like, "No, I'm not." You actually slurred a little bit more. No, man.
That was fun.
I got there at like 7 p.m.
It was dark out.
Let's put it this way.
Barely.
Tiny left at 7. He said...
No, he left like 7:30. I saw him for like a half hour.
Yeah, you're right. But he went by, and he's like, see you later, man. I love you. Don't let Raven Shadow drive.
We did end up making you stay a little bit longer, but then you still snuck out.
Yeah, he fucking snuck out again.
Yeah.
That's his finishing move.
Son of a bitch.
I chilled. I was there.
We're going to take your keys next time.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Like, I just don't know, like in a party where like no one else got drunk, you still managed to get drunk.
I was doing it right.
He's got problems.
Yeah, like that's just crazy. Like,
yeah, we might have some water.
Like I didn't even know. Like
You were chugging water like a son of a gun, though, later in
I
the
had
night.
some water. I paced myself.
I just don't know how. Like I don't know. Like it just. I'm not gonna say it wasn't that type of party because if anybody wanted to get drunk like that, but
Raven Shadow knows how to party. What
Thank
can
you,
say?
Joe.
You're welcome, Raven Shadow.
I know that the unnamed 4 foot tall other lead singer of the Deadites, who I believe drank a bottle of whiskey herself, was not as drunk as you. So
Was she there?
yeah, she was. That
Did you
just
have a
shows you how
dog?
drunk you were.
Did you have a dog?
Yeah, yep.
But I didn't talk to her.
Because she doesn't like you.
That's true. I was stuck with Aries and Tom C.
I'm sorry. Did you finish, Joe?
Treat.
All right. So for me, I mean, I think it's been pretty clear all throughout. This is definitely a treat for me. This is a fun as hell film. I really love the way the filmmakers squeezed every single penny out of their budget.
Fucking great.
To make this film work beautifully. I now have no idea what the budget is, but literally they squeezed every penny to make it work. And I also think this film manages to navigate several genres flawlessly while telling a sweet and endearing story. Like I just love like they go from it's the setting is there, so you got the post-apocalyptic sci-fi setting, but they do horror, they do romance. I think they do a really nice job of moving through these different genres. And also the 80s references were plentiful and appreciated, and I love how they fit into the story and weren't just there for cheap pops, if you will, So I don't know. I had an absolute blast watching this film, and I'm super, super excited to see what the future holds for RKSS. By the way, that stands for Roadkill Superstars.
Nice.
I just did some research while we were doing this. But yeah, I'm super excited to see what they do. I love this film, and I love the heart, and I love that they managed to tell a great story, and it's just a great film. It doesn't matter what genre this is, and I just feel that they can carry that through to other genres as well. So definitely a treat all around. It was a treat, and it looks like we're not going to get Jim and Jay back. So
Are they okay?
yeah, everything's fine. They just Jay had to go, and then Jim has to. Also, I think he has to get up early or something. So
He'd go back in time.
He was getting a tattoo and like.
yeah, he passed out getting the tattoo. No, everything's fine. But they both had to jet, and we couldn't get back on to say goodbye. But they both loved it, and it's a treat all around.
And thanks so much for I feel even more comfortable saying it while he's not there. I am as both a human being and an artist. I am such a huge film fan of Jim Smith.
Jim,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah. I like
So
him.
everyone go check out Teeel. That's T with 3 E's and an L. Teeel.
As I said on the CryptoCast we watched the other night, it's like he named himself when he was falling off an Apple box. He's like, the name of my band is Teeel.
So everyone go check out Teeel and check out his jams because he's a fucking great songwriter,
Yeah.
and his music could definitely be featured in a flick
for sure.
like this. Yeah.
I mean, if you like, specifically, again, going back to University Heights, because it was kind of life-changing for me. If you like John Carpenter music specifically, like there's some stuff in there that'll really get your juices flowing. And then he manages to add like that great like Joy Division, New Order style, like, vocal stuff to it that, usually when I hear like a great synth riff, like I almost don't want the vocals to come in and like fuck it up. But he's everything about those songs like is in service to everything else about it. He's just so terrific.
All right, so everyone out there that wants to check out Turbo Kid, definitely give them your money. Give Turbo Kid your bucks because this is, as we say, we talk about living legends. We also talk about voting with your money, right?
Right.
So if this is something you like and you want to see more of this, go out there and buy this. You can get this on Amazon. You can get the the Blu-ray, maybe there's a DVD of it. You can get it on video on demand. And also, if you're an Amazon Prime user or subscriber, whatever they call it, this is available for free on Amazon Prime.
Really?
You can watch it, stream it for free.
I'm anxious. I'm gonna recheck it out. And again, we're lucky enough to get screeners for a lot of things and stuff like that. But like, I'm not being righteous because I will steal something I need that I can't get somewhere else. I'm waiting for Wolfie to help me steal something right now to finish the.
Well, it's not stealing per se.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna call a horror kind of guy, even if it's not 100%.
Yeah,
maybe
but you want to just rip a wave file or
that
an
doesn't
MP3.
exist somewhere else, right? Yeah, so I guess that's fair. Yeah, you're fair. All right, I'm a better person than I think I am. But yeah, like you loving a torrented version of this, doesn't count, really.
No.
I'm sure they appreciate it, but as an artist that gets a lot of appreciation and not enough money to take the time it takes to make art, help these people out, because we often lament we don't know what the when we get into this weird video on demand environment we're in now on multi-platform releasing, like what the creator's cut is.
Yeah.
So it might even take a little more. Like maybe a small theatrical run for this, would have done more, is easier to define how much money they would get. But like a lot of people seeing this for free in 2015 equals a lot of people not seeing it, really.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify one thing. This is not available on Blu-ray or DVD. You can get it on video on demand. So I'm just looking. You can definitely get it on Amazon. If you do have an Amazon Prime account, you can watch it for free. So definitely seek this out and make sure they get your money if this is something you want to check out. Because once again, this is not like, I guess I'll use, for example, like Mad Max Fury Road, just because we talked about that. That movie did pretty good at the box office. If somebody torrents that, it's not a huge deal. Granted, you still should be giving your money to
but
the
that's a good
filmmakers.
example of the fact that everyone voted with their pocketbook, right? That wasn't Avengers 2.
Exactly.
That wasn't a slam dunk, Like that's an example of something that was a revival, not a remake even, like a sequel of a 25-year-old franchise,
Yeah, and so don't, if for some reason this doesn't do as well and you fucking torrented it and you didn't buy it, don't be pissed if another one doesn't get made. Like, why. So if this is something you want to see more of this, you want to see more from RKSS, you want to see more Turbo Kid, go out there and vote with your dollar,
right.
So
I talk about it all the time on my show. You like a movie that you torrented, you didn't think it was going to be that great, it's amazing, it's one of your favorites, go out and buy the Blu-ray.
Yep.
Support good movies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I do it all the time.
Because that's how they get made,
Right.
I mean, to a certain degree, like, just support movies. Like, that's why, like, I'm all, like, your partner, Tom, I'm excited sometimes to see that he bought garbage because, like, at least people are buying movies, like somebody buys Leprechaun Origin, like, it's not going to make up for the million times somebody's going to torrent It Follows, but like, it's good for the genre and good for the industry overall because it's like, it's atypical to, for people to pay for this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So that's all we'll say about it. I just wanted to get that out there because, this is one that's been getting a lot of buzz lately. But I just want to make sure that that if you're into it and you like it, make sure that you're letting them know, because who knows, maybe to get another project off the ground, they have to hit a certain amount of money. They have to, like, for us, if we wanted to get subscribers, we would have to show how many listeners we have. I'm sorry, not subscribers, sponsors. Yeah, thank you. So we'd have to show how many listeners we have. Maybe for them, if they're going to get another movie deal, they have to show they made X amount of money. I don't know,
They have to.
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's how all this stuff works in the movie business, and the music business. It's all the same.
Yeah.
The numbers mean a lot. How much money you made means a lot.
Yeah. So that's all we'll say. But there you go. Go check out Turbo Kid. We all loved it. If you're, and it just goes to show you whether you grew up in the 80s or the 90s like Joe.
Right.
This is a flick that appeals to all audiences, and just I think that's the heart that it was made with. I think it definitely can span generations and decades, and regardless of whether you grew up with the stuff or not, I think you're gonna dig it. So everyone go out there and check out Turbo Kid.
I mean, we proved tonight that it plays just as good for the people like me that worshipped at the altar of Vestron and Canon Films as it does, for people who are more in tune with the flicks that are referential to those films, like Fury Road or, the zombie films and stuff like that. So,
and so this,
cool.
Yeah, definitely. This leads nicely into what we're going to talk about next week. Next week, we have been waiting for this flick for about a fucking year, maybe, or since we had Matthew Kennedy from Astron 6.
Episode 50, however long ago that was.
Yeah. So this is a long time coming. We are so fucking excited. We're going to review The Editor from Astron 6 next week. Everyone, this just hit VOD. This just hit Blu-ray. If you want to see this and you want to join along at home, which we would recommend, go track down this fucking flick, watch it, send us your feedback, and listen to the show next week. We're going to be joined by our buddy El Goro, who basically introduced us to Astron 6 when he picked Manborg a couple years back to review on the show. So it's only right that we have the man back on to review their latest flick, The Editor.
That's terrific.
So this is going to be a fucking
We're
blast.
so lucky. We're very, very lucky. We're to be part of like this great overarching community, of radio personalities and musicians and stuff like that. Like, we're very, very lucky.
Absolutely.
You guys are so cool.
Shucks.
Mean.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not, Joe.
Both.
Yeah. Mean. I wasn't talking about Joe. That's why.
You left me out, you dick.
Yeah, I know. You are an artist, sir, and a radio personality.
So I think what we need to do is let's take a
commercial.
Let's take a really quick break because
Raven Shadow needs a smoke.
Thank you, Joe.
No, I don't care about him.
I'll tell you what. You keep smoking, and you're gonna end up in the same place I am right now.
That's
you got
very
a little
true.
tracheotomy monster.
No, it'll be worse.
Yeah.
To be fair,
mine won't
though,
but mine won't grow back.
To be fair, though,
You're gonna say something stupid.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
This is
what I'm
gonna be like
saying.
this is gonna be like the Fiari thing, right?
Say it.
Right. Well, I'm saying I don't have a hole in my throat yet.
Yet.
Right.
Right.
So why don't you go work on that, okay?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna fucking
Get
try.
better.
Joe, you think it's easy? I got fucking medical problems too, Joe. I'll see you in a little bit. I love
All right.
Long Island.
We're
Nice
gonna-
tease.
This is gonna be like a just over 1 minute Raven Shadow, so hurry the fuck up. It's midnight
Man,
right now.
I miss Long Island iced teas.
You can't drink them anymore, right? All right.
I can't remember the last time I had one, but probably not.
All right. Well, we're going to take a really quick break. We're going to be back, and we'll do some feedback and end the show. So we'll be back in just a moment.
I love Tree of Life. Terrence Malick. I mean, how could you go wrong?
It's vanity shots.
Knocked Up. One of the best comedies of all time.
Nothing funny about that movie. Well, Joe, I love the remake of The Ring.
That's a joke.
Jaws 2, I mean, was just so much fun.
Who'd put that in their top 10?
And, I mean, come on. Silent Hill, great video game adaptation.
Worst movie ever. FilmForThoughtPodcast.com.
Hello, darlings. It's your favorite whiskey-drinking, litigious, singing, dancing fantasy girl. Want to reach out to me and the world's greatest monster-hunting multimedia organization, the Deadites? Log on to Facebook.com/The Deadites. It's got all the info you need to follow the world's greatest monster-hunting band, like live appearances, info on your favorite Deadite, music, and all the links you need to our new weekly multimedia and all our side endeavors. Too many letters on Facebook? That's okay, sugar. Just follow us on Instagram and Twitter @The Deadites. Hope to see you soon, and we'll leave the lights off.
All right. We have returned, and we have a bunch of feedback to get to, so it looks like we're not even going to get to talk about anything else, which I guess it works because Jim is not here to talk about his stuff. But we'll have to catch up with him again because he's got some fun stuff on the horizon.
Pick up University Heights. Pick out I can't ever say the name of his second record. Hydrostatic. They're great records, and now some developments have changed. So Teeel might be up in our neck of the woods sooner than we planned. So
let's hope so.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
If not, I'm going to get him up here as soon as I can. So it's definitely worth the ride for anybody who's looking to come see the Deadites. See the Deadites and Teeel.
Which one? I was going to ask you, Dynamo. Which album sounds dark if you're in a horror movie writing kind of mood?
University Heights,
for sure.
Okay, all right.
But a good running record I have found over the past couple of weeks is Hydrostatic, because
very dancey.
It's more of like a dance record.
Yeah. Bizarro
bands introduced. That's something I'm very proud of, and me and Tiny have said it to him, and he said it to us. If you listen to the new record that's coming out, songs like Double Damage and stuff like that, you could tell we were very influenced by listening to like University Heights. And he said on air that, he put out a dance record, essentially after playing with us, like in seeing how well our dance set got off. So like it's a very great symbiotic relationship that we have there.
Yeah. Jim's the fucking best. Go
Same
check him out.
House of Horror and Trick or Treat Radio.
What's the House of Horror?
This awesome show I used to listen to that would review. They would review film as abortions.
Bizarro Tom C says the song Quaid is amazing and makes me juicy. So he loves the song Quaid on University Heights.
I'm so bad with names. The one that's it's a longer instrumental piece. It's the one that I think is named after the boat that Dracula was on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let me look it up. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Phenomenal. But the song Mugwai.
Mugwai, yeah.
And
it's my joint.
Deadites and my favorite, Crystal Lake. So good.
It's Shadowbrook Road. Is that the one you mean?
No. Shadowbrook Road is from Amulet.
Is it the boat was called?
No, Shadowbrook Road is on University Heights.
Is it? Because Shadowbrook Road is where.
Oh, the Lacania.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shadowbrook Road is where, and that's not it. It's something else. It's like the Shadowbrook
whatever.
Road is where the spooky guy lived in Monster Squad.
Monster Squad. Yeah, I knew there was. Yeah.
Oh, Monster Squad.
Oh, scary German guy.
And Amulet is named Amulet because of Monster Squad, which I think is funny too.
Oh, snip! If they fucking remade that movie, Ian McKellen, the scary German guy.
Oh, snip! Monster Squad is a great movie, Raven Shadow. They should never remake it.
They shouldn't, but if they did, Joe.
All right, we need to get back on track. All right.
Raven Shadow, shut up. All right, just
Listen.
shut up. We need to get back on track.
Come to New England in October. The fucking Dracula's gonna be there.
What?
Reservoir
Come
Dog.
to New Jersey in November.
It's cold in November.
Reservoir Dog wants to know: is Trick or Treat Radio going to have a telethon to help replace Dynamo's thyroid?
No, my thyroid's still there.
That's somebody else.
Could you imagine? How amazing would that be?
Can you fucking imagine? Like, I was petrified, but, knowing how loved I am, it didn't not cross my mind of how many fucking people would be happy if I was left without a voice. Like, I literally feel it would be like a Martin Luther King Day level of holiday. People would be happy.
Like who?
Like, people hate me.
Name one.
Someone vandalized my home.
Well, besides that guy.
I shut down a music-centric message board once of just people talking about how much they hated me.
Well, I remember the quote that you said at one show.
Fuck you, Yankee Red Sox?
No. That's not the one. What is the meeting of the G and F coalition or something like that?
All right. We gotta go on. We have a
I'm
lot
not
of people.
saying that,
Hold
Raven
on.
Shadow, come on.
Wait, GSBH says, "'Cause he's a scorpion."
Thank you, GSB, paying attention to the back catalog.
And Gene Siskel's balding head also wants to ask. He says, "Oh, tell Joe to do Reservoir Dogs."
For a podcast?
I guess to review that.
I don't like Reservoir Dogs.
I know.
That's probably why I said it.
We don't talk about that around here.
Treat.
All right, so we got some feedback. Let's hear from our buddy Josh. Let's see what Josh has to say about this flick, because I think he's going to review it.
Turbo Kid.
Hey, Trick or Treat Radio guys.
Hey, Josh.
Josh from the Arkham Film Society here. Just calling in about this week's films. First off, Turbo Kid. Turbo Kid is one of the most fun times I've had watching a film in a super long time. With all of these different types of throwback 80s films, this seems to be the one that, to me anyway, just nailed it. Like, from the look of the film to the storytelling style, the subject matter, you know, the fact that it was a post-apocalypse film that took place in the 90s. It had a great sense of the future past. But it's just a super entertaining film. It's got a really fun story. It's got like great characters, tons of fun gore. I can't recommend this film highly enough. It's definitely a treat. I apologize there. I'm so excited I got ahead of myself. But yes, definitely a treat. And what's also really exciting about this is that you can really see the evolution of how something can come about, since this started as a short that was one of the ABCs of Death contest submissions. And to see how they expanded it like this is fantastic. And from my point of view, too, of doing like festival programming and stuff, and this is great to see the evolution of of a group of filmmakers, because these people all worked on a really fun slasher spoof called The Bagman that we screened at one of the festivals I worked at. I don't know, this had to have been 2004, maybe not that long ago. I could be wrong there, but I mean this was quite some time ago. But it was a super fun film too, and I'm just super glad to see that now they're working on features, and they've brought that same fun, over-the-top, gory sensibility along with them. So yeah, like I said, super high recommend and a treat. And definitely, I think the weirdest part about this film is how, except for the gore and some of the subject matter, it almost seems like they were making a kid's film with the way like a lot of the characters act and everything. And every once in a while you'd be like, oh, is this like a weird kid's film? And then, you know, somebody would get sawed in half. And you're like, oh, all right. So, but other than that, I know you guys are reviewing another film. I sent a copy of that, but I didn't seem to have subs. So I didn't bother watching that one. I watched the important one, though, Turbo Kid. So, hey, you guys have a great one. Totally sorry that I missed your party, Mars. But hopefully I'll see you guys soon, all right?
I'm sorry, too, Josh.
Thank you, Josh. We didn't review New Kids Turbo anyway, so no worries there. But
he almost got his whole review there before that box truck left the dock.
I know, and you almost lost your drink. Oh, that was good. That was awesome. So thank you for calling in, Josh. We always love your review, and I know you reviewed it very favorably for the paper you write for. You did that a week prior, I think, right? So
Cinema Motif or Motif?
That's it. Yeah. All right.
I don't always read them because you tend to review films that we're gonna review.
Yeah.
But I always share them so that people who want to can read them.
We have the speak pipe is blowing up. Let's see. Let's hear from Slams.
Do.
I don't know who this is. Slam.
Merry Christmas to your microphone. I mean, not microphone. Merry Christmas, animals.
What? All right. Thanks, Slams.
Do.
We also Slam.
Pick
al-
up the mic, you fucking bald-headed bastard.
Can
We
we
al-
play that again?
We also heard from Michael Myers. Is this the guy who would play you in your biopic?
Yeah, that's what I've always said. Who do you think about that? Michael Myers playing Dynamo Mars, Joe.
Perfect casting.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody was like Ron Perlman. I'm like, oh yeah, because I'm very tall and tough looking.
You look just like Hellboy.
Yep. My movie would call Been Through Hellboy.
All right, well, let's listen to the voicemail from Michael Myers. Wow. Mike,
That's perfect.
Michael had a lot to say.
Thanks, Mike.
I'm glad you like Turbo Kid so much, Michael. I don't
Ever
think he
since-
likes Skeletron, though.
Ever since last week, you just, these short voicemails, they're the best.
All right.
Come on, say 2 sentences and get off.
Yeah.
You got people breathing now. What else do you get?
Not even trying.
Well, let's see what Tom C. has to say.
Stop your grinning and drop your linen. It's another Tom C. trivia segment.
They're good, yeah.
Tonight's question is: what is the first enemy monster Godzilla ever fought? Bonus question: what is the most recent enemy Godzilla has fought?
Mewtwo.
The box office.
The prize I haven't figured out yet, but it'll be juicy and
nougaty,
full of love.
Nougat.
Good luck.
You know, I wish that MZ was here because I
know he would know.
I am at a loss because I am not a huge fan of that second Godzilla movie. Still in black and white. I believe it's called Godzilla Attacks, and I don't recall the monster's name.
Raven Shadow, got a guess?
No, I'm not autistic.
You're not artistic either.
A little bit, but no, it's fun. It's just not. Godzilla isn't my milk.
All right.
The Mothra.
The Mothra.
That one was called the Mothra, actually.
So what was the second one? He fought the box office?
No.
That was the final one, right?
Oh, the final one. I don't
It was
know.
a Mewtwo, right? Was not the name of the fucking thing?
That was a Pokemon.
Yeah, if that's what if he's talking about that Godzilla for sure.
Well, that's what he said, the most recent one.
Matthew Broderick.
So we don't know. We don't know, Tom, so we're not going to look it up.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I will look it up eventually, but it won't count anymore.
Yeah, we're not
I
going to
do
look.
think he fought.
Maybe people can write in. How about that? Tom C. asked a trivia question. We're not going to look it up, but if you know the answer, go ahead and...
Is Reservoir Doug still there? He probably knows.
I don't know.
I do think that he recently went back. I think that the Biollante made a return. Oh no, not the Biollante. The Smog Monster, whatever his name was.
Oh, Raven Shadow.
Yeah.
Hey.
Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. The American version had the best fucking theme song. It was just young Japanese sounding women saying "Save the Earth, save the Earth, save the Earth" over and over again.
All right.
I'm surprised you don't like Godzilla.
I don't. Rodan.
No, Rodan was one of the first ones. Eventually, the like in the same way that UFC fights don't have fancy names, they're just named like what the main event was. That's how the American releases anyway of Godzilla's were named after like the second or third one.
I will say this though, I did have two amazing. I had a Godzilla it was almost the same scale as the Shogun Warriors.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it was put out by that company.
We had his hand shot. He had fire.
He had the fire tongue, yeah.
Fire tongue. I had that, and then I had the Rodan giant with the wingspan.
Yeah.
That I would often use to have them fight like Superman.
Sure.
And He-Man. Fought him a couple times.
I think fucking mowed over a lot of G.I. Joe men in my day. He had a tail that moved. Yeah, those were great. He had roller skate feet.
Yeah.
Well, that's that's what all those figures at those scales had. The Shogun Warriors, but yeah,
which
it's
had.
great. I can't remember. It was Godzilla Attacks. Godzilla Raids Again. And I think Rodan was maybe the third one.
Yeah.
But I bet you the Ledge would know if he was still around, but obviously he's not. Like, yeah, I won't cheat. I'm ashamed I don't know Tom C. I love me some Godzilla. At Last Frontier, we used to sit around and watch quite a bit of Godzilla all the time. So.
Where's Reservoir Doug says, did they even give a name to the two bug things?
I think they were Moratu, right?
Mutu.
The Great Mutu.
Jesus Christ! Does that come out of your neck or your ass?
That's the morphine's wearing off.
All right, well let's hurry up.
Rectum.
I don't even know if I want to say who this is from. Hitler's mom had an abortion.
Is that his first name or his last name?
I don't know. That's who the voicemail's from. So
if she did, she killed the wrong kid, huh?
All bets are off here, folks. Let's go ahead and play.
Cooler
it.
if she did.
Hello, this is Hitler's uncle. My name is Rusty Hitler. I used to babysit Adolf in 1933. He was a very shy, introvert boy, but his favorite hobbies are reading comic books and painting. And back then, we're in the shadow. You fucker. You fucking shit.
What?
What?
Took a turn.
Yeah, it did. Oh man,
That was Adolf Hitler's mother calling me out?
That was an uncle.
No, it says Hitler's mom had an abortion.
But it was his uncle Rusty Hitler.
Rusty Hitler.
Which is, I don't know. I don't dislike you this much. In real life love you, but he seemed to have a fondness for Hitler, and if that guy dislikes you,
That's okay, right?
yeah, I'm not sure actually.
Which is the good one?
I'm not sure. I feel like right, wrong, or indifferent. Everything with the H word in it is bad.
Yeah.
All right.
That's weird.
It's
a little weird voicemails.
Yeah, a little weird. All right. So next we have the Home Office sent us the deleted scenes from the 401 Stories episode 6.
Oh no.
Have you guys? I haven't heard this yet.
I heard episode 6. It was quite good.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I sent Dynamo a text.
You
I
did.
said
You didn't send me a text.
Well, because
you didn't send T-Dog a text, did you?
Well, she won't. She don't respond to me.
Rightfully so.
That's fair. No, but T-Dog was brilliant. You were great. I liked your sexy voice.
Yeah, you were real good.
You guys were great.
Have you listened to our appearance on 401 Stories, Joe?
I didn't even know you guys appeared on 401 Stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
those Wolfie and T-Dog were absolutely positively phenomenal. And
Well, it sounds amazing. I'm going to have to check it out then.
Episode 5 features Raven Shadow and Monster Zero. Raven Shadow was a magical fish.
Magic catfish, sir.
Catfish.
He's a prince.
So episode 5 and episode 6 featured myself, T-Dog, and Dynamo. And Dynamo, you I know you're modest, but I thought you were really fucking good as a scare
Wait,
taker.
that's not what the internet says.
Yeah, I was like, well, he's not modest, but he was. You were great. You were very
Michael
good.
Raven Shadow.
That's fair.
All right, so let's take a listen to these deleted scenes from 401 Stories, episode 6.
Hi. A couple weeks ago, we here at Trick or Treat Radio were able to provide our audience with a free deleted scene from episode 5 of the new children's podcast, 401 Stories. Due to the positive feedback we received, we have decided to provide another deleted scene, this time from episode 6, which featured the vocal talents of Dynamo Mars, Johnny Wolfenstein, and freelance assassin TJ Koecki. In this scene, the main character has discovered a wake for a man he doesn't know that is most unusual in its nature.
As soon as Brian poked his head inside of the room, he could tell that he was intruding on a wake. The dim light of the room emanated from a fireplace that crackled and spit embers onto the dirt floor. As soon as Brian sat, a large man with a barrel chest and a bushy gray beard stood. He slowly walked to the center of the room and stood by the coffin. And he spoke in a booming voice.
Marvel sent out a release today, and I was like, oh my god, please tell me that they're eating crow about something. Nope. Fucking shitty Secret Wars. It was supposed to be 8 issues. They're extending it to a 9th issue. They've told no story yet in 6 issues, but now they're gonna, like, oh, isn't this cool? Like, we're in a place where, like, we're on Battle World. Nobody fucking fights. I gotta buy the other fucking book to read the fights. What happened? I gotta go get the fucking Thor versus the Zombies comic to read that. And they're like, we really like this because you don't have to buy those books. Because nothing, like, happens. But I read a book to see, like, I fucking get Walking Dead already. I already have a book about people walking around. Like, I already get that book. I want somebody to get punched in the fucking face.
Be quiet, fool, and sit down.
In my real life, all day long, I walk around and talk to people. I don't get to fucking hit anybody. Like, do you know what I got a fucking pen that's the size of this bottle that I got to fucking stab myself with every single day. Do you know what I would do for a fucking giant robot zombie?
Shut up!
Like, fine, give me giant robots. I'll fight those.
Be quiet.
Like, I don't want any more of these fucking talking comics. Like, give me a good, like, fucking Saga. That's why it's awesome. Shit happens. And this story. And this character. Daredevil didn't have his costume on for, like, 4 years.
Shut up!
Fucking Spider-Man and Mary Jane get married comic? Spider-Man and Mary Jane get married. Like, that's a fucking comic.
If you would like to hear the original episode that this scene came from, all you have to do is visit... Oh, excuse me. Hello?
Hickman, literally...
No, I'm sorry, I don't have time for this.
Number one?
Yes, I know...
Crisis on
No, I'm
Infinite
sorry,
Earths.
I don't have the
Issue
time.
2,
Seriously, if you could just call back later.
That almost killed Dynamo for real.
He has another hole.
It's nice to know you all appreciate my pain so much. I got a fucking box of comics that I ordered in May. I didn't know what they are. Fucking all sorts of shitty Secret War shit in there.
Well, hopefully the ones that got ruined were the Marvel ones.
No, they were like my brand new ones, and some of them were like yeah, I'll be able to fucking recollect the fucking Puppet Master comics that I've been looking for all over the earth. Dicks.
Oh, man. Thank the Home Office for that one. That was a good one.
I have the feeling, though, I wouldn't think anything so contemporary would make it as that I am obliged, though I wouldn't generally put something so me-centric on there. That's going to make the greatest hits rail.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for voicemail. We did not get any emails. We do have some tweets, though. Let's take a look here at the what would it be?
That guy's been pretty prolific lately, though. He should quit more often.
Who?
Yeah.
The Home Office.
Oh.
I was kind of surprised.
This is the trick or tweet. Or in other words, it would if we can get that thing recorded, if we can get the Chocolate Beast to maybe if we bribe him with Nougat, we can get him
tweets.
Give up your tweets, tweets.
Tweets. We get some Nougat in the back.
Yeah, we do. Okay. So we heard from our boys over at the Horror Club. They have the best fucking website on the planet, especially if you want to track VOD releases.
You've not seen Pornhub, sir.
I like Horror Club better.
Joe.
Great site, Raven Shadow. Great site.
Thank you. So you ever see a Braziers?
No, there's
Some
Brazers.
prosciuttos, you know?
Oh, is it Brazes?
Yeah.
Brajol.
Oh, Brazzers?
Oh, you go to brajoles.com?
One time. I was confused like James Dean.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, we heard from the Horror Club, and our buddies over there said, hey, Deadites, I was excited to see Felt 2, even though the
Was
early...
the second one?
What?
No, as well.
Felt also.
Yes. It said...
Look who's felting now.
They
also
said,
on Pornhub.
I missed the first part. They said, thank you for saying everything about Felt that we wanted to say. Now we don't have to write it up ourselves. And then says, I was excited to see it, even though early reviews felt like they were on the whole SJW bandwagon. You guys know what that is? Joe?
No.
SJW.
Sarah Jessica.
Walker.
Texas Ranger.
And then they followed up by saying that movie was so far up its own ass that it made me angry.
Super Juggalo wrestlers?
SJW. What? Let me do it.
Yeah.
I'm a little hesitant to do a web search.
That's the one thing about VOD that I hate, though. Like, I remember, Johnny, you were just talking about Contracted too. Like,
oh yeah,
it's really funny what gets a sequel. It's like you do not need a sequel to some of these movies, and I don't even I just saw I Spit on Your Grave 3. Like, who the hell saw 2? I just don't understand who.
More
it's so
saliva.
more saliva this time.
It's like, I mean, the bar must be so low to make the money that they want to make, or I don't. It's just so funny. What gets a sequel?
Is it the name? Just the brand?
So
I don't know.
SJW, Social Justice Warrior.
No.
Nauget?
Use it in a sentence, though.
We also got I guess they call them Terror Tuesdays. Our boys over at the Horror Bowl podcast did a Terror Tuesday tweet where they tagged a bunch of people in it, and we got tagged in it. So thank you to the Horror Bowl podcast. Go check out their show. It's fucking great. We gotta do another Titanic team up with those dudes. Horror Maid is our good friend Jeanette from Haunting TV. She has another Twitter, and it's called horror_maid, and it is Jeanette and Christina. And it says that we love adorable things almost as much as terrifying ones. And they are going to tweet about books, horror, reviews, blogging, YouTube, blah, blah, blah. Awesome. Go follow them on Twitter, horror_maid. Anyways, they had posted a couple photos, and they wanted us to ask Monster Zero a question, but he's not here. It says, ask Monster Zero if we're doing the Walmart selfie right. What do you think, Dynamo? You be the judge.
Well, I say it's definitely better than what Monster Zero puts out there.
Are they doing it right, Dynamo? Could you see?
I think they're doing it very well.
You're doing a really good job.
Doing a really good job.
I would like if there were more selfies like that going on, I would shop at Walmart every day.
What aisle's that?
Yeah.
Is that where the socks are kept?
Yeah.
And then Monster Zero did actually reply on Twitter. It's like probably the first time he's tweeted in like months. And he says, "You ladies got it."
Yeah, they look just like Monster Zero.
And then they blew him a kiss.
Oh my god.
I know, right?
That is so cute. Oh my god, you got to go follow Monster Zero on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know it is.
Don't try to fucking figure it out by any of his 9 aliases.
Yeah, we asked him when he first got his Twitter account. He could not figure out. He could not remember what his fucking Twitter handle was. But it is, for anyone that wants to follow him as infrequently as he tweets, it is Green Inferno 80 is his Twitter handle.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
And that's actually not the Eli Roth reference. That's a old cannibal reference.
That's a cannibal Holocaust.
Yes,
reference.
exactly. So
I did. Did anybody take what was it? Force Friday or Force Thursday last week?
Force Friday last
Friday,
week.
baby. Force Friday.
I fucking forgot that Star Wars put out figures in scale that I collect. And by the time I got there today after the hospital, there was fucking one Chewbacca floating around out of the box. I was fucking pissed. I didn't see any of the new toys.
I was there.
Late to the party. It's it's called Force Friday for a reason.
Yeah, well, I was fucking Force incapacitated.
Hey, you had 6 days. Come on.
All right, well, that's it for tweets. If any of you folks want to tweet at us, it's at the Deadites. Go ahead and, the great thing about Twitter is you only have 140 characters, so you got to get your message out there quick. So
it's pretty fucking hard.
You can say episode 163 was fucking awesome. Episode 163 sucked because Raven Shadow didn't smoke enough. Ooh. Whatever. It's a really easy way to give quick and easy feedback while you're listening to the show.
All right.
So
or you could just leave a voicemail of yourself breathing. That's great too.
Oh, Gene Siskel's balding head. Speaking of that, in the chat room said that that was Raven Shadow. That wasn't Michael Myers. It was Raven Shadow.
It's Iron Lung.
Yeah, exactly. So that is it for feedback. Now, I guess we're gonna end the show.
Sounds great.
How you doing, Dynamo? Your voice holding up?
Yeah.
Your throat
You
sore?
right
at all?
over there, Dynamo? You okay?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt. I tell you, the first thing that is uncomfortable that I didn't encounter in the hospital that I'm encountering since I left the hospital
Is when you're burking it?
No. Oh man, I gotta tell you, like all my nurses were so beautiful. Like it was so like that was 48 hours without like masturbating for me. That's got to be a fucking record.
Oh man, I wish I could have been there.
I wouldn't have been able to control myself if you had been.
That would have been great.
One thing I just want to comment on, because I think this is pretty. No, I think it's pretty breaking news.
You got a can of worms.
Wow, fucking Michael Ravenchild just made us a fucking noise that sounded like the opening analog intro of my phone ring. I thought Jusha Liga was coming.
So apparently Preacher gets a full series order at AMC. Nice. So it's going to be debuting in 2016. May of 2016. We're going to see Preacher on AMC.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I don't want anybody to say. I don't want to hear anybody fucking say it's not the same. Because it's not going to be the same.
Look at that poster, though. I like it.
I'm excited, yeah. It's like if they put out a Preacher cartoon. Maybe not a good idea, but it's not going to be the same.
Little Preacher?
If that's like...
Lil Preacher.
Little Preacher.
If that's like somebody's critique, like, I don't want to hear it.
No, listen.
Oh, you know it's going to be a critique.
There's
going to be a fucking critique.
I'm telling the
I'll tell you
people I
that
can
much.
reach right, like physically on the show, though.
This is my favorite thing ever. Okay, and I have a family and parents.
Yeah, but do they
Okay.
want you?
Jesse does. Cassidy
Jesse
does. Tulip, they're my friends, and I
what
love
about
this.
the Saint of Killers?
You don't like me.
What about Arseface?
Yeah, he's okay. He's kind of like Sin Sang Soon a little bit.
You're right. We should make our own Preacher.
But this is my favorite thing ever, and I just want the
Wait,
world.
Who would play Jesse on this?
Well, out of the show?
Out of us.
You'd be all right. But you don't smoke, so I'd have to do it.
I'm willing to learn.
There you go. I want the world to see what we see.
So go fucking they can buy the trades.
They can, and that's fine. But this is
Think about how many people are gonna buy the
Yeah,
trades just because
exactly.
exists, though.
Exactly.
And that's great. And if it sucks, there'll be something else down the line.
I just don't understand how this is probably, and I guess I haven't put enough thought into it to really say it. But if someone like could make an algorithm of like things I talk about and love, this very well might be my favorite thing ever.
I love it more than you.
So why do I care?
You guys gonna duke it out?
I do know I love it more than you.
No, maybe, but I still don't care.
I care.
Because they don't take like, all right, well, I guess a comparable thing was I didn't care when they remade Evil Dead. Like, I just don't care. Like it doesn't change the one I have. It only makes more people see the one I have.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see.
We'll see.
I'm sure we'll
Did
get some more
you
news.
hear that
I love people say, "Oh, there's a comic book based on that Keanu Reeves movie." Why is Constantine blonde?
Who says that?
Who says that?
Yeah, who says that?
My nana.
Yeah.
No, your nana doesn't fucking know Constantine.
Hey, apparently,
Why is he British?
This is really sad and applicable to the show because of a rivalry we had early on. But apparently, according to our friend Grant Akuma, Ultramantis Black has had a career-ending injury.
Yep.
Which
He's
is
going to have to
fucking awful.
retire. Yep. I saw that earlier and was going to say something, but I wasn't sure if we had time. But I'm glad you brought that up.
It's too bad. Like I don't think Chikara would be anywhere near where it is without him. No good babyface that Chikara's ever had is only as good as their heel. There would be no WrestleMania without Roddy Piper. I don't care how big Hulk Hogan was. No Batman without the Joker. So
no Raven Shadow without the cigarettes.
Right.
Or Godzilla without that whatever the fuck he fought.
Yeah.
That nameless monster.
You can't have Batman Forever without Nicole Kidman.
There you go. You're fucking smart,
Shut
Joe.
up. You can't have Batman and Robin without what's his face?
Joel Schumacher.
No, who played Robin?
Chris O'Donnell.
Chris O'Donnell. Thank you.
Cowabunga.
Oh Jesus.
That's tough. It's tough that Batman has. I love Batman more than you, and it doesn't bother me that those movies came out.
No,
You don't.
no, you don't.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No, I do.
You don't love him right.
I love Superman more than you, Raven
No, you
Shadow.
fucking don't. And I love Kyle more than you. I'm just saying that I
That's not true.
I have a lot of love in my heart.
You're claiming every superhero.
You know, I do.
You love them more than
I
anyone.
do. Joe,
here's
what
the
do you
thing.
like?
I have a question. If there was,
I want someone to challenge you on
if
that
there was
Superman thing.
if there was a
Come on.
preacher cartoon, would you watch it?
If it was HBO?
No, just like a normal. 'cause
If it
you, don't
was
you don't
HBO.
watch cartoons because you're a grown ass
I
man.
am a grown ass man, but it was like,
Wait.
on Snick.
I want somebody to challenge Raven Shadow. If anyone out there likes Superman
Loves.
a lot, like loves him a
Aries.
lot, I want them to fucking challenge him.
Get Aries on the horn.
Get him on the phone.
I have a friend that has like tattooed.
You don't have a
version of,
tattoo?
like, Jor-El's Superman thing on his shoulder. He is obsessed with Superman.
Great row. No, I just said like
Seriously,
great God,
it's
but
actually
Kryptonian.
crazy how sexy it is.
Okay? Rao's the Kryptonian God.
No, you're getting Kryptonian and Italian made up. That's great, Raoul. Man.
No, but I
Yeah,
love
you
Superman
don't have a
more-
Superman tattoo.
No, because you know why? Because like it's fucking. I'm not worthy.
You should pull your get the logo on your chest.
Here's the thing: I don't wear Superman T-shirts because there's always that moment where I can't open the fucking pickle jar, and I gotta ask my wife to do it. And she's like, "There you go, clock." So I don't.
Well, I can solve this problem right now, Raven Shadow. Here it is. Do you know how to speak Kryptonian?
He supposedly just did.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? Okay. Because
It's
my
not-
friend
Well, at least
knows
more.
fluid Kryptonian.
All right. Well, listen. Here's the thing. I love Clock, and I'm on a first name basis with all
Clock.
superheroes. The most that someone who barely is a functioning addict and in society and who's kissed a girl.
You know what, Raven Shadow?
Sometimes
I
at
don't
the
even
same
like
time.
Superman, so who cares?
All right.
Yeah, I hate
Well,
Superman.
I want
He
somebody
could
to
bench Long Island.
I want somebody to challenge Raven
You can
Shadow on
bench
this.
Long Island.
I think of that.
For
can
some
also
reason,
fly around
the
the world
metaphor
without
was
the time
instantly
travel.
lost on me, and I thought he was like
Oh,
going out to the mound.
shit.
I thought he was going out to the mound and saying, "Long Island, you're sitting out today."
Oh shit! Robert E. Ronsky dropping the fucking bomb. Read that, Raven Shadow.
Oh snap! R.E. Dubs Jr. says, "I am the ultimate Superman fan. I guess you loved him so much you would have wrote a book about it."
Jesus Christ!
But he did. It was horror.
You're a dick.
Okay.
You're such a dick.
Go get a tattoo, Raven Shadow, and then we'll talk.
Get Jim back on the phone.
Reservoir Dog says Raven
get
Shadow
you.
loves North Star in more ways than
I
one.
don't love- That was weird. No Star's all right.
Raven
I'm
Shadow,
more a Pied Piper fan, to be honest. That's
Raven
weird.
Shadow can't get a tattoo.
Pied
His,
Piper masturbation.
his hand is still bruised from the stamp he gets at the Lucky Dog at the beginning of the night from May. I don't have a fucking tattoo.
I don't want to talk about May at the Lucky Dog.
All right, we need to wrap.
all right, this is
we need
getting
to wrap
downhill
things
over.
up.
That was going to be
Seriously
the
though,
last hurrah of chivalry.
I would love to have a fucking. I want to have a contest. Who's the biggest Superman fan? I want to have that on the show sometime.
Oh, some knowledge. Let's talk about
Yeah,
some stuff.
maybe it's Robert.
Oh, shit, Rob. You can be at...
If anyone else thinks they're the ultimate Superman fan, let us know because I want to have that fucking challenge. Oh,
Me
he's
and Dynamo could fight about Batman.
I do love Batman.
I don't think you can even speak Kryptonian. It's all like the symbols.
You just did.
Well, Rao's a word. It's a god.
Raoul.
Not Raoul. Eating Rao.
Eating Raoul, yes. All right, well, we got to end things. All right, so Joe, Film for Thought podcast, I like it a lot. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks out there where they can find it and what you guys have been talking about and what's coming up.
filmforthoughtpodcast.com. We just over at Bandcamp we just wrapped up the part 3 of James Bond retrospective. We're about to this week we're doing M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit.
Can't wait.
Excited to see another Shyamalan movie.
I can't wait.
And yeah, I mean, going through the James Bond movies, we're having so much fun, to be honest with you. We're midway through the Brosnan era, heading into Daniel Craig era.
Nice.
Ooh.
Everyone go check that out. They do a great job over there. And if you like premium content, they have a ton of it. So go check out their Bandcamp, and they got some really great retrospectives out there. And I always like tuning into you guys to find out what you guys think of the latest films that are hitting theaters. You guys do some VOD stuff as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We just did Cop Car.
I broke my rule. I listened to Cop Car just because I was really curious to see what you guys' take on it was.
Yeah.
I never listened to before I watch a movie that I want to see or we're going to review. I was just really intrigued at you guys' pronunciation of car mostly.
Well, it'd be probably better than the pronunciation Raven Shadow would have.
What?
Say the name of that movie.
Which one? Kafka?
Yes.
None of those,
Kafka?
neither of those
Not
words are in the
Kafka.
title of that film.
Not Kafka.
Yeah, the black and white Kafka.
Well, hey, hold on. We just got a voicemail a couple minutes ago. I didn't see this come in. Let me just.
Shit.
It's from Anonymous.
Great.
Shit. That fucking don't they hack shit?
I will record. Give up your tweets. No Nougat required. Although it would be appreciated.
Wow.
Au revoir.
Chocolate Beast is listening in live.
That's my favorite Phil Collins record. No Nougat required.
Gene Siskel's balding head says Krampus looks like a Tom movie. Krampus looks fucking awesome.
Probably.
It's done by what's the?
Tune in.
He's
I
not.
can't remember the dude who did Trick or Treat.
Yeah, he's not interested in
Yeah,
that.
Michael Dougherty. I
Yeah.
think is his name.
That's it. Yeah.
He's not interested in that.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that trailer on this week's show.
Well, there you go.
Spoiler alert.
Krampus. Also, follow me on Letterboxd. Letterboxd.com/Joe DeCanio.
See, I'm caught up, Joe. You happy now?
Yep, I'm seeing that. Seeing that. You're giving a great variety of star ratings this week.
And also, if you guys wanted, just because Joe mentioned the Letterboxd, if you want to follow us, letterboxd.com/the Deadites. You can just do a search for Trick or Treat Radio or the Deadites. We should come up. We don't do a ton. We just really just advertise the movies that we review on the show. But if you want to follow us, go for it. We are on there. All right, we got the film for thought out there. Go check it out. Raven Shadow, any last thoughts?
No, I like it a lot.
Go find Teeel on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Teeel.
Yeah.
Teee. That's 3 E's. Music.com. Go check that out. And also on Twitter, I believe it's Teeel Music. And just do a search for Teeel and like it a lot. Teelmusic.com. There you go. All right. Dynamo, any final thoughts? I know you've probably had a lot of thinking to do in the last couple days. Any last thoughts?
I'm just grateful. You know, like I called someone I hold dearly, Miss M, and you know, just today, and reminded her how much I love her and how much she means to me. You know, and she said, probably rightfully, she said, "You say that every time you almost die." So you know, but all jokes aside, like, you know, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the people that tune into Trick or Treat Radio. I am especially grateful to the outpouring of fans that have become, in my eyes, friends. Like it just makes me feel really grateful. I think kind of what happened is that I said what was wrong with me on the air a couple weeks ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody thought I was joking. And then I was in the hospital, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, I guess he's not joking." But like some of the people who sent nice things to me, you know, Micah and Derek Rook, and like just I could go on a whole show. Just like I spent from 5 a.m. when they woke me up till when I left the hospital at like, you know, 1 in the afternoon, talking about like reading all these very nice things that people sent me. I really am so blessed to have so many great films, and these are people who
films.
Well, friends. I'm not blessed to have so many great films anymore.
Thank you, Casablanca, for all your words. Yeah. Big ups to Aliens.
Well, no. Well, kind of. My thought was
the thing you're in the back.
When like Steven or somebody like that, you know, takes time out of their day to write to me, like, you know, like that dude is like fucking. It has his fingers in like 8 or 9 movies right now. You know what I mean? So like I don't know, like you know, if you're fucking carting around eggs or you know, making podcasts or making movies, like to take any time out of your day to even say hello to me means a lot to me. But like all the kind words that people said really, you know, brought tears to my eyes. I appreciated hearing from Raven Shadow. I didn't answer him back because I was too drugged up. I was really fucking high though. But I do remember that you saw I left myself a note and said, "Please get back to Raven Shadow." And then I just came here. But yeah, it was so nice. You know, Wolfie stayed in touch, all the Deadites. It it was really nice. So that like is the thing. I will be able to replace those films, and that's kind of why I got on that thinking. But there's no way I could ever replace how loved I felt by all these phenomenal people who were concerned and were so nice to me. And it really, it made when, this small Asian woman with an enormous scalpel come at me, it made it feel, worth it. So an older, drunker, sadder me might have thrown in the towel at this obstacle, but you guys really gave me, as we say in the Japanese wrestling business, the burning and the fighting spirit to keep going. So thank you.
You might want to get that burning checked out.
Yeah.
That's how I end up there in the first place.
Probably involved the Asian girl and the scalpel.
I know.
All right, Dynamo. Well, I think that's going to do it. Next week's going to be super exciting. So, Dynamo, why don't you go ahead and take us out?
Remember, children. Hey, and Joe, thanks for coming on too, man. Thank you.
Anytime, buddy.
Remember, children, wherever you go, there you are.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to episode 163. We had a fucking blast talking about Turbo Kid, hanging out with Jim, Jay, and Joe. Man, all the J's.
Ooh.
And next week is going to be really exciting because we're going to be reviewing The Editor with our buddy El Goro. Couldn't ask for a fucking better person to accompany us on that review. So, everyone, tune in for episode 164 next week. See ya!